I got to unmute the mics, but now we're live. It's official.
Fantastic. All right. Happy Championship Sunday, brother.
Yeah, you too, man. Yeah, there we go. Our graphics working. Everything looks okay. It's a little jittery right now because we're coming out of everything, but it should relax here in a little bit. Maybe I will just leave it up here if it's going to be that rough. Hopefully hopefully it stops being so choppy.
We on Twitch too?
Yeah, we should be. We fucking better be, baby. Meow, 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 meow. Man, I'm fucking stoked for these games though, dude. Now watch. And I think the reason we're stoked is because last week they were so good, right?
I think both weeks have been really, really good, really close. Games for the most part.
But last week especially. Last week might have been the single greatest weekend of football I've seen in years.
Every game was decided by 3 points or went to overtime.
Yep.
So every regulation was decided by 3 points or less.
Yep.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, it made for good football. Now watch.
And it's very possible
this week it's not going to be good.
It's very possible that both weeks of games from here on out, this week and Super Bowl Sunday, end up being not quite as close of a finish.
Oh my God.
I don't want to say trash or one-sided or anything, but just not that as close and dramatic as it can possibly be at the end type. But
I think that's better. I don't know if that's actually better. Now I got to go look at the YouTube.
But I feel like they've
fucked this whole thing up.
I feel like since the blowouts and ratings and kind of bad games of the 90s, that the NFL's kind of learned how to officiate and manage that Super Bowl game in a way that minimizes how many blowouts we get. I feel like we had a lot more lopsided Super Bowls in the 80s and 90s than we have in the 2000s.
Yeah.
And I think that's partially because of the NFL changing how they officiate those games, just trying to keep them a little closer.
So you're saying the NFL is rigging these games to become closer?
Yes, not to determine the outcomes of who wins and who loses, but just to maintain a general competitiveness and entertainment level throughout the production.
Maybe you're right.
I don't know. I've felt that for a while, and it wouldn't surprise me. And just, I mean, when it comes to referee discretion and how much it impacts games, it's a really easy thing to manipulate.
You're probably right.
And I would, like, it's a TV show. I would be doing some directing and some, scripting and whatnot whenever possible. Obviously, you can't script the executions of stuff, but
your WWE fandom is showing.
Yeah, exactly. Good call.
All right, we missed kickoff. Usually I go like PA. I go boom.
Nice. Evan Washburn. Who is that? I have never heard of Evan Washburn in my life.
He's probably like the local KC sports guy.
Okay.
Think of like a PA or a Mark Rosen.
Sure.
That's what I'm going to guess.
Sure. I could maybe ask my sister. She might know. My sister lives in KC. And my niece, goddaughter.
Or maybe he's a former Kansas City player, like he's our Ben Lieber that we just never heard of.
Sure.
Some third string tight end.
Like a Pete Bursich.
Sure. Oh. It's going to be interesting. Oh, I got to turn the graphic on. Sorry, guys. And I do have the replay queued up, so if anything good happens, we should be able to give you a solid 10-second replay, hopefully.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that's supposed to be what they see up there, but It's not an accurate representation because I'm not even in the frame, which is hilarious.
As much
it's third down already.
Yeah.
I feel like the game just started. It's already third down.
It did.
Jesus.
It was a kickoff.
It did.
Kickoff for a touchback, a very short run up the middle for about 3, and then a short screen pass for about 2. And here we are at 3rd and 5.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I can't. I'm torn. I'm super torn because I don't know if you remember this, but Cincinnati is kind of my second team.
Sure.
Do you remember this conversation?
Yep.
Because they were from the AFC North, or it was actually the Central back then.
Exactly. Yep.
AFC Central. So I wanted to pick, just for the listeners that don't remember this, so I basically wanted a second team to cheer for when the fucking Bengals sucked. Or, I'm sorry, when the Vikings sucked. So I picked an AFC team because I didn't want to cheer for somebody in the NFC. And then I just decided to pick the AFC North. Or no, it was the Central, because that's what the Vikings were in at the time, was the NFC Central. And then I just picked the shittiest team in that division because I didn't want to be a bandwagon jumper. So that's how I became a Bengals fan. 20 years later, it's finally paying off. Actually, I was younger than that. That was almost 30 years ago now.
One thing I was thinking about coming into this game was the experience factor from the two teams, not just the home field advantage. But I mean, because you don't think of Mahomes as like experienced veteran, but he is. And Burrow is extremely young, but even more so than that in the coaching matchup. The head coach for the Bengals going up against Andy Reid. And on that 3rd and 5 there, you just saw a really good, safe, high percentage play call by the Bengals guy, out-called by Andy Reid's staff, where he had to throw. It was just a 2-3 step drop right to the chains. Really easy type of play for the offense. He had to put that thing in the tightest window possible and couldn't fit it because it was double covered.
I mean, I also think it's just a little bit of early game jitters because of the lack of experience.
For sure. Yep. Not willing to progress to that second read in the play too, being Joe Burrow with the inexperience.
A little too jacked up.
But
and I wonder if they won the coin toss and they asked to receive the football, or if Kansas City won and they wanted to kick it. Because I would have wanted to kick it because I want to put I want to put the football in the hands of your overexcited, basically rookie QB. This is his second year, right?
If there's a half where you get an extra possession because you started with it instead of the other team, you want it to be the second half, not the first half usually. And then in a game like this where you've got such a hot freaking crowd, home crowd, let them come out and be loud with your defense on that first series.
That's a great point. You're at home. You don't want to have your fans have to sit down and be quiet for the first drive, especially if you're confident you're going to do a methodical 7-minute drive.
Yep.
You don't want to cool your fans off for 7 minutes.
Yeah. To me, if nothing else, it expresses confidence in your offense's opening drive and script to defer when winning the coin toss.
Yep. And I always want the ball coming out of half.
Absolutely. I got to be honest, other than that Vikings game early on in the season, I haven't watched a lot of Bengals football.
Really?
I mean, I've watched some here and there, but, not multiple entire games or anything like that.
Do you have the Game Pass or whatever?
No, I do not.
It's hard then, dude.
Yeah,
it's just hard. They didn't even start airing any Bengals football on national TV until the end of the season.
Yep. No, if I'm doing stuff that's not just on the regular network feeds, I usually just use the Yahoo Sports app, whatever's on there for free, just because it's really free and easy.
We actually pulled this off and made it up on time. I was stressed out, bro. I was super stressed out. But I will tell you, man, that logo looks legit. The Sportscast Extravaganza with the 2 helmets.
Heck yeah.
I'm pretty proud of that one. Unfortunately, Twitch doesn't allow you to do that. I can't upload them like that to Twitch, so I have to go back later and upload that thumbnail, like after we're done.
Nice try, big slow white guy. That's going to be close.
Yeah, we're on.
I agree with the line judge closest to us's spot as opposed to the guy on the opposite side of the field. The down judge, or maybe vice versa. But yeah, that did appear to be inches short to me from the view that we had, and the ref on that side agreed. And not enough to challenge. No, what are you talking about, Tony?
You can't see what's going on.
Exactly. You can't see anything from that view.
Well, maybe there.
This
right
is the
there.
only view.
Right there, you can see he's ahead of that line. That's it.
So you have to watch the ball is the main thing. That is probably worth the challenge.
Yeah,
I think you gotta spot that ball.
He got that first down. You can see it on that. Once you see the reverse angle and you see where the line is on the ground relative to the first down marker, and then they show you the parallel, you can mentally put that ball. He got the first
absolutely.
down.
And
but you have to challenge this because if you're the refs, you're not giving them the first down in real time.
No, but to me, like if you're the ref with the responsibility of spotting this, your reference point for the ball is the hash mark. In that play, based off of where the runner went down, you have a great reference point. It was that being the hash mark, okay? So if the ball is...
and you got illegal hands to the face.
Which side of the hash mark the ball's on determines whether it's a first down or not. That's how close the play is. If they spotted that on the backside of the hash mark, then yeah, you got to challenge that because it looked like we had clear definitive proof that the ball made it to at least the other side of the hash mark.
Oh, at least, yeah, for sure.
Where if it's in a different part on the field and you have no marking there and you're just going off of grass, that's a lot harder of a call to overturn the ruling, because the video evidence is much less indisputable.
I mean, that is why the fucking field is so busy, though.
Yep.
That's why they make it so busy, so they have references for that shit.
Exactly. I've actually had to ref games that did not have hash marks on the football field for middle school football.
I believe it.
That sucks.
You got cones.
That sucks.
You got cones marking every 10 yards.
Yep. And for a 5 to 7 person job, there's me and one other guy.
Sure. You basically get a line judge and a back judge.
Yep, exactly. 100%. Yep, 100%.
Where would you rather have the back judge? Would you have him in the offensive or defensive backfield?
It's almost always the offense.
Really?
Yeah.
So if you just got a line judge, then you put the other guy behind the offense, huh?
Yep.
I'm putting him behind the defense.
And I'm just speaking based off of what I've observed my crews or other crews do in that sort of situation. But
I think paid for that, right?
You can. I've always donated my time.
Really?
But yeah, you certainly can. But I think more often, more than anything, it really is just like the preference of those two referees or whatever. Like, where do you want it? Where if you're that guy that's either in middle school
football, I don't want to call holding every play. So yeah, go stand behind the running back because if you go stand in between the two safeties back there, you're gonna see and call holding on every single play. That's gonna slow the game down. Let's get out of here.
Yep. 100%. No, there is a lot of, you just have to let them play to an extent. It's not going to be perfection, but just let them play, And then if it impacts the outcome of the play and is egregious or obvious, that's what you enforce, But yeah, a lot of it really is just spotting the ball, calling plays dead, things like that. The basic rules or jobs of a ref as opposed to like the rule enforcement.
Yeah, it's funny. Patrick from 93X, he was like, "Oh, I see where you got your idea from," and I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, I mean, clearly you're trying to do like a Peyton Manning, Eli Manning Monday Night Football thing," and I was like. No. If you're gonna tell me I'm ripping somebody off, do it right. I was like, it's Tom Grossi on that Packcast channel.
Oh man,
because I like watching it watching his shit when it's a Packers game, and I think the Packers are gonna lose. Because watching him melt down live,
it's extremely entertaining. I love it.
It's priceless.
Yep, I've watched a couple times, and every time I'm just like, oh my god. Why don't I watch this every week? It's like better than watching the actual games.
Exactly. And that's what put the idea in my head, because especially for Vikings games, because we get the worst.
We get the lowest tiered commentators that the networks have to offer.
Exactly.
For our games.
Exactly.
Unless we're playing like the Cowboys or something, then we might get then we might be blessed to have Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
Ugh. That's what I'm saying. There's honestly, man, there's only really one team that I actually like listening to, and I actually made the conscious choice, throughout the season to avoid doing their games. And it's is it Al Michaels and Tony Romo? It's Tony Romo and whoever the fuck it is.
I think it's Jim Nantz and Tony Romo.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because I think Al is with Chris Collinsworth.
They're really good too, actually. A lot of people hate on Chris Collinsworth. I think he's great. I think before Tony Romo showed up, I think he was the best.
I have hated on Chris Collinsworth less and less and less. Just
really?
like every year and every year. Like I feel like I started out as one of those people that really didn't care for him, but just every year I feel like, no, he's not so bad. Every year I like him a little more and a little more.
Jim Nantz and Tony Romo are on today.
Well, and Jim Nantz is just a consummate professional when it comes to commentating or announcing anything. Like it doesn't matter if it's football or
But
golf,
we're talking about two different things, right? We're talking about commentators versus, we're talking about play-by-play versus color commentary, right?
Yes, they are two very different jobs.
I think Al Michaels and Jim Nantz are the two greatest play-by-play guys of all time. Ooh, actually, you know what? Pat Summerall's got to be in there too.
Yeah, Pat Summerall and John Madden were a pretty amazing pair with Madden on color.
I think John Madden is the greatest color commentary of all time because he made it sound so stupid and obvious that people started making fun of him. And it's like what Einstein used to say, when you explain extremely complex things, but you can make everyone understand it. Mm-hmm. That's why John Madden was, for the longest time, the greatest coach that had ever existed until Belichick showed up.
And now that you've got me thinking about it, I kind of think that John Madden is responsible for the boom and shift in, or at least very significantly a part of the shift and boom in football overtaking America as the national pastime. Probably. And when it really started to hit peak popularity was because the way he presented things to national audiences, it allowed for youth and other non-football fans, exactly, and any other non-football fans who weren't already diehard men into it, to be able to enjoy it.
Mahomes is rolling to his right. He's going to toss it into the end zone. It's caught!
What a great
It's caught!
Catch.
That's a touchdown!
What a great throw.
They're going to call that a touchdown.
That's a touchdown.
What a play. What a play.
Great hands, great freaking placement on that throw. Like, covered fairly decent.
Here's your replay, guys.
Like, he's not wide open at all.
Got both feet down.
Oh, my gosh. As he's coming down on the right foot, I don't know that Pat Mahomes had a foot on the ground when the ball came out of his hand.
Yeah, he does that a lot.
Like
he's the only quarterback I've ever seen.
And he was coming down on it. Normally you're going up if you're going to be throwing on no feet.
Honestly, if he wouldn't have won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, I'm not sure I'd be sold on him. Because I've seen a lot of these guys that break all the rules of how to play quarterback, and usually they never win the Super Bowl. They never come up clutch. He does.
Yep.
He's the only guy I've ever seen in 30 years of watching this sport, 35 years of watching this sport. He's the only guy I've ever seen legitimately break all the rules of fundamentals, throwing motion, mechanics, footwork, like everything he does, the no-look passes, throwing across his body. He literally does everything wrong. But he comes up clutch. He already won a Super Bowl. He's the only guy I've ever seen be able to do that, man. And there's a lot of guys that do this. They just don't actually win big games, like Lamar Jackson, like Michael Vick, right? He won one or two big playoff games. Never even made it to the Super Bowl, let alone won that motherfucker. Donovan McNabb is another great example. Breaks all the rules, but then when it came to the game on the line, came up short.
For the longest time, John Elway was in that freaking conversation too.
I don't know, man. I think he had great footwork. I think he had great footwork. That was the secret.
But I mean, he was one of those that was willing. He was one of those only at that time. There were very few people that were at least open to going off script in situations.
Oh, you're talking about the improvising.
The way that Elway would.
I see what you're saying. I'm talking about just straight fundamentals.
Probably more from a decision-making mental standpoint.
I see what you're saying. You're thinking schematically. I was literally just meaning mechanics, footwork, throwing motion, like completely unorthodox. This guy is just like, we're watching, and it's funny because we say it's like something out of a video game, right? But the video games, and same thing, they used to talk about that with Mike Vick. He's like something out of a video game, but the video games actually have to change the way the mechanics work to make these guys seem like to be able to do what these guys, because you can't actually do this shit in a video game. That's how good they are, dude. It's fucking ridiculous.
Now you got me one, because like, I mean, you're really, you're spot on when it comes to like Mahomes mechanics and things of that nature, but like,
makes no sense.
It starts getting me thinking of like golf swings. And how there's so many, like every golf swing's different, And there's a proper form or technique or whatever. But ultimately it comes down to like, well, do you have the club speed and do you have, this and that? Like with Mahomes, he's got the weird mechanics, but he still has the amazingly quick release.
Oh, and his accuracy is out of this
exactly,
world.
Exactly. And so like
that's what it boils down to, is the accuracy.
You've still got to have those things to get the unorthodox stuff to work when it does.
No, and you know what? There's actually a weird similarity you brought up. I don't think you realized it when you said it, but John Elway, okay? Him and Mahomes both have extremely deep baseball backgrounds.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if as a baseball player, you're used to making more of those unorthodox throws. Mm-hmm. And I wonder, because I've lectured and ran my mouth for years about the reason I don't want a mobile quarterback.
Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, there's a lot of quarterbacks that have strong baseball backgrounds.
And the reason I rail against that type of quarterback, right? Not a Russell Wilson, not a Patrick Mahomes, but a Michael Vick, a Colin Kaepernick. The reason I rail against these types of quarterbacks is because they're too athletic. They've always been too athletic, so they just run away from their problems.
Cam Newton.
They just run away from their problems because they've always been the best athlete on the field.
Cam Newton.
But either one of two things happens. Either once they make it to the NFL, they're no longer the best athlete on the field, or as they get older or get injured, they're no longer the best athlete in the NFL. Point being is guys like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Joe Montana, even John Elway, even though he was a scrambler, these guys had to, Dan Marino's another great example, these guys had to practice since middle school making the throw in clutch situations. So they've got reps in. Yep. So in clutch situations, these guys can be more consistent and more accurate. Again, Mahomes is the only one who I've seen defy that, because if you actually look at what Russell Wilson does, everything's kind of perfect. Like, he improvs like a John Elway, but he's not unorthodox. His throwing motion is beautiful. His mechanics are phenomenal. His footwork is incredible.
Yep.
It's just, Mahomes is literally built different, dude.
Yeah,
he's literally a different. It's like it's actually like watching a football version of Michael Jordan.
Well,
like, he's literally doing shit that everyone else tries to do, and he makes it look easy while everyone else literally fails.
Yep.
We call Tom Brady the Michael Jordan of football, but it's actually probably Pat Mahomes.
Well, and I think another ingredient in Mahomes' makeup and abilities to succeed, here
we go, Joe Burrow, 3rd and 5
fashion.
This is his second third down of the game. Let's see if he can pull this off. Shotgun, drops back. Looks like they're just rushing forward. He's going to scramble out.
Nice,
gets to the left,
slide.
And he's learning how to slide. Did you see his slides his rookie year?
Burrow's so good. No, I didn't.
Clearly, Joe Burrow did not play baseball ever in his entire life.
Sure.
Because, dude, you watch his slides his first season, and this is why I wasn't sold on him. Fuck the injury. It was the little bit of tape there was on him. It was bad, dude. Like, in the NFL, he did not look like the part. But
from a sliding standpoint,
no, from a quarterback standpoint, I just didn't see it. Like, he was too quick to scramble. Like, there was a lot wrong in that first year. I just wasn't sold, dude. But all I needed to see was that Vikings game where he wasn't 100% on that knee yet. And then he got injured, came back in, toughed it out. It just looked like a rock star. I was like, yeah, he's legit.
My thing with Burrow, I watched pretty much every snap of his last year at LSU. And based off of that film, it was like, there's no doubt this guy can play, and he can play in the NFL. Will he be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL? Maybe, maybe not. But this guy might get injured and might have a lot of injury issues in his career because he's not the biggest dude. He's mobile. He's quick to frickin' use his legs sometimes when he should be a little more disciplined in the pocket.
That's what freaks me out about Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Both of them.
But he's got more size to sustain those hits a little better than a Burrow does.
By the way, when you and I had a conversation a long time ago, and that draft class, that QB class was coming out, you and I both looked at each other and looked each other in the eyes and said, Josh Allen is the best quarterback in that class.
Mm-hmm.
And other than, because that's the same draft class as Mahomes, right?
That was no. Mahomes was Trubisky's draft class.
Oh, you're right.
Mahomes was Trubisky's draft class. We are talking about the Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield.
Yep. Oh, Josh Rosen.
Yep.
He was in that draft class too. Yep, and we both were like, I think Josh Allen's actually the best quarterback in that draft. And he was not the first. He was not even close to the first
ceiling. If you wanted to just go, okay, who's got the highest ceiling out of all the guys, there never should have been any debate amongst football minds that Josh Allen had the highest ceiling.
That kid is a tough son of a bitch. The only reason I'm okay with him running around like he does is because of how fucking legitimately tough he is.
That guy's combination of size, athleticism, and arm strength is just like, those are all things you can't really coach, develop, teach. And so as long as he's not a moron... it
was almost intercepted. You know, he's like an American version of Khabib. Did you see the videos of Khabib? You know who Khabib is from the UFC?
So. Oh, okay.
Khabib Nurmagomedov. Yep. Did you see the video of Khabib literally wrestling a bear when he was a child?
Oh my God!
No. So the kid's like 5-6 years old, and he's wrestling a bear cub.
That's so
in the mountains.
That just sounds so Russian, man.
Right?
It's like
Joe Burrow.
Give me Russia in like 10 words or less. Just describe Russia.
Khabib wrestles bear as a child.
3 words. Russia in 3 words. Yes.
Wait, no, give me 5. 6, because then I can say as a child.
Yeah, perfect.
Khabib wrestles bear as a child. 6. I only need 6. No, but America
at age 5.
Dude, but Josh Allen is like the American version of that. Because if you see the videos of him on the farm as a kid, True. You go, oh, wow. Okay, so this kid he's never been the biggest. He's not the biggest guy on the field, right?
Right.
He's not a Dante Culpepper.
Yeah, true.
But he's definitely the toughest dude, and he might be the strongest dude. Like, he may not be able to outbench everybody, but real world farm strength, like Josh Allen is literally the last human being on earth I would want to meet in a dark alley.
Absolutely.
I would actually rather run into Brock Lesnar than Josh Allen. That's how much I have respect for him.
And I just love and appreciate that you recognize and understand the difference between independent physical strength of a person or player and functional power,
right? There you go.
Of that player.
That's a really articulate way of saying what I really just said.
Appreciate that you get that. Because, like, honestly, when I'm scouting draft prospects in the offseason, especially the O lineman and the D lineman, I have those as 2 separate categories.
That's a great thing.
Grades.
That's a great thing because I understand that from my fighting background.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, dude, because that's why I win most of my fights against larger humans. Yep. It's because, you might be bigger than me and stronger than me, but everything I have is muscle. There's no fat here. I'm lean, right? And everything I have is built to make me like functionally stronger. You're definitely going to outbench me. You're definitely going to do, but dude, I surprisingly can fucking do that. What is it? The inverted squat where you lay on your back and you push the plates up with your feet.
Yep.
Dude, I can't remember what I can do, but it is unbelievable how much I can do. Like, I remember doing shit with dudes and they're like, there's no way. They're like, there's no way you can do that much. And I was like, put it on. And I could, but then you put me on the bench and I'm kind of a wimp. Like, people kind of laugh at me a little bit. But my legs are so fucking strong, dude. It overcompensates for everything else. And I don't even have thick legs, bro.
That last play was a really good example.
Shit. I thought there was somebody out there. I seen that wide receiver run deep, and I thought he busted towards the back pylon. So I'm getting excited. Oh, shit. And there's no one there.
So much attention this year, and rightfully so, for the Bengals has gone to their offense, and specifically Joe Burrow in year 2 and Jamar Chase in year 1. But I read that too. What I've seen and the little that I have seen in research on the Bengals, one of the unsung heroes of their team and season this year has been Joe Mixon.
That's what I was going to say. I was waiting for you to finish.
He is going, and being productive and efficient, that's what opens it up for this offense and this team.
Yeah, and if you look at the numbers, he's not blowing anybody's mind.
He's only got 3 carries in this game so far.
No, I mean season-wise. Like fantasy, especially on a fantasy perspective. But he's a real, what I would call a real running back. And you could get him on pass interference. I'm just
saying, with 44 seconds
to go. Look at this. You could get him on pass interference right here. Check that out.
Without his... He grabbed the arm, so he restricted his ability to catch the ball, and he didn't have his head turned around playing the ball, establishing himself as a...
I'm glad they didn't call it, but they could have.
I like the no call.
They could have called it. They could have gotten him on it.
I agree.
But so let me go back to real quick. At the beginning of the podcast, I said, or the beginning of the show, because this isn't a podcast. At the beginning of the show, I said, I'm conflicted because I am a legit Bengals fan. But I have also openly said I cannot root for another team to win their first Super Bowl before the Vikings do.
Right.
You feel me?
I feel that. I don't like how this drive ended from a play calling standpoint for the Bengals. Mixon got them into the red zone.
And then they abandoned
the run and just went 3 straight into the end zone passes.
I think, here's what I think, though.
Again, 40 seconds to go in the first quarter. Like, we're basically, the first quarter's done. Mixon has 3 carries.
Here's what I think.
I don't like that.
Here's what I think's happening. I think the Bengals scouted something that they're trying to attack.
That could have been your kicker, Vikings.
I think the Bengals are scouting something that they think they can attack and exploit. But what they don't realize is Andy, like you kind of said, Andy Reid, experience. I've been here. I've done this before. I'm aware of that weakness, and I know what strengths you have on offense because I know offense, and I know you're going to attack this spot on my defense. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to instruct, as a head coach, I'm going to instruct my defensive coordinator. Here's what our game plan is. Don't let them do this. Don't let them attack this guy. Don't let them exploit this half of the field. Don't let them do this, this, and this. And then the defensive coordinator's job is to go implement that game plan, and he's clearly done that so far. So far. We'll see. We'll see about the adjustments. That's what I'm most curious about is how do these adjustments come in?
Well, and I think you are seeing a little bit of a slow progression with the Bengals settling in to the moment as a team where like that first drive was a really quick, jittery 3-and-out type of thing. Now we're seeing at least a little bit of drive sustainability, moving the chains, putting points on the board. So in either the next or the following possession, you would think then the Bengals get more points, get a touchdown, keep kind of settling in. But that said, still kind of comes down to that Bengals offensive line versus whatever kind of pressure the Chiefs defense can get, because Chiefs defense is really Jekyll and Hyde, hot and cold when it comes to that, at least in my opinion. And the Bengals, if they have a weakness on offense, it's that offensive line yet. You look at Burrow, I think he was sacked like 51 times or something this year. Yeah. And that's just the sack numbers. That's not even the pressure numbers. I
got a side question for you.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh.
I'm down.
Go get him, baby.
I don't mind Harbaugh.
Pay him whatever he wants and give him whatever he wants.
Harbaugh,
like you want complete roster control over the 53, which what is it now? Actually, like 60 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
It's weird with the COVID shit. Plus we all fucking know they're going to 18 games either next year or the year after. We know it, and it needs to happen because if they do this, and this is why I hate the 17 game schedule. Remind me, the whole point is to get back to Harbaugh.
Okay.
In the 53-man roster thing.
Sure.
But the reason I hate the 17 game schedule is because it takes away from the perfect balance of parity they used to have in the NFL, meaning 32 teams. They had 16 teams in each conference, and only 6 of them made it to the playoffs. So just less than half of each conference. Roughly over a third, but not by a lot, right? Because it would be like 10.3 teams to be a perfect third of the league. It's 12. The problem with things like baseball has always been there's not enough teams in the playoffs. And the problem with things like hockey and even basketball is there's too many teams in the playoffs.
I agree.
Football always had it perfect, and it was because they had 32 teams with a 16-game schedule and a 12-team playoff format. So what I'm saying is if they want to go and have 17, they need to actually just skip it and go to 18, because having the ability to finish 500 is important for the integrity of your league.
I like that. Yeah.
And then you take that a step further, and if you have 18 teams, or I'm sorry, if you have
18 games.
Holy shit!
Damn, that just a perfectly thrown
incomplete
ball.
Though. It's going to be incomplete.
I don't know.
He dropped it at the end.
I think they're saying that it came out after he was down.
Here's a replay.
That's just
that's completely right.
That is all that is identifying a mismatch on individual players. So that's having one of your fastest receivers lined up in man coverage on a safety.
So let me get off this stupid
recognizing that
idea.
and going, well, that's where the ball goes because dude's faster than the other guy. So boom.
So let me get off this stupid idea, right? So 17 games, it sucks because you can't go 500 anymore, and that fucks
Unless
with things.
You tie.
It fucks with things, though.
Yeah.
Correct. It fucks with things. You can't end up with a perfect, true 500, because even at a tie, yes, mathematically it works, but it's still not really, because whatever, right? Especially when it comes to playoff positioning and shit like that. 500 is 500, and it needs to be. So you got to immediately say, fuck it, we're going to an 18-game schedule. Okay? Once you go to an 18 schedule, is what I want you to do is then go, now we have 32 teams. Now we can get 4 international teams. Now we can get our London team. Now we can get our true Canadian team. Now we can get a team in Mexico City. Now we can get a team in Ireland or wherever the fuck. Now we can do another shakeup because we have 36 teams, right? So now we can go 36 divided by 2 gives us 2 even 18-team conferences. And then you can split that up and go back to 3 6-team divisions. And you can actually get that even parity back the way it used to be.
The one thing I would incorporate into that, because I like all of that, is I would then add a 20th week to the schedule so that each team gets 2 buys.
I love that idea.
And so you're keeping your
players
games, and your employees
you get
a little healthy. Exactly.
You play 6 games, you get a bye.
Yep.
You play 6 games, playoffs.
Boom. Yep.
And I would actually stop lotterying the bye. I would regulate. I'd go 6 on, 1 off. 6 on, 1 off.
Yeah, make it as uniform as possible.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Oh no! I always give people shit when they do this to their cigars, and now it's happening to me.
Where the NFL should love that is it adds an extra week of revenue without adding any more total games or expenses. To your thing, and the players
definitely make scheduling a lot
union
harder.
Should be all for it, because it gives them more rest for same like it's an extra week of paid vacation basically that they didn't get.
So back to Harbaugh.
Yeah, yes, back to Harbaugh.
When they expand to, so I wouldn't write it into the contract that you have total control over the 53-man roster, because I think you're writing yourself in a shady loophole when it becomes a 70-man roster on an 18-game schedule. No, we gave you say over the 53, but we get say over the other 17.
I like that.
I don't like that. I mean, I see what you're saying. You like that.
I like some semblance of balance, or at least some system of checks and balance.
I mean, here's the deal.
Without equality, though, that's not to say that there's equality in it, but just that there's, there is checks and balances. We're not a complete dictatorship.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, here's the thing, man. Like, as somebody who played the game, I would say the coach should have final say.
Oh, say, absolutely.
Because if you're going to give me a guy, right, that I can't coach, and then I go, listen, he's fucking up my chemistry. I can't coach him. He's setting a bad example, and he's undermining me and making it harder for me to coach the other 52 guys I can coach. I need him gone. I'm cutting him. And you go, no, you have to figure it out. I understand you hired me to do the job, which is to coach the guys you drafted me. But at the end of the day, since I'm the general on the actual battlefield doing the actual job, I need to have my fucking guys.
I 100% agree with that from a final call standpoint. I'm just speaking from an only voice in the room standpoint.
Yeah, it gets tough though, right?
That's all I'm saying. Is like you can't be the only voice in the room on every decision. Like you at least need,
and it gets tough because if you get some guy who loses his mind mid-season and wants to cut Randy Moss, I understand Randy Moss might be fucking up the chemistry, but we're not having a great season, and people are buying tickets to come see our shitty football team only because Randy Moss is back. Mm-hmm. If you cut him, that costs me money. Yes. You're costing me money. Yes. As much as this is a sport and we want to win, it's still a business. I got to make money. So I also understand it from that perspective as well.
And again, like that should still be your decision to make at the end of the day, but someone else is telling you their thoughts on it and what potential repercussions now might come as a result if it goes negatively, like for that decision. Like no one, even the person making the final decisions, should be immune from the consequences of those decisions.
Right.
That's all I'm really trying to advocate for, I guess.
Can't argue with you on that.
Cool.
That's tough. I mean, because it does come down to that, like, no, motherfucker, I'm your boss. I hired you.
Yep. No, there definitely needs to be clear and cohesive chain of command established in any, franchise organization.
Right. And if you get a guy like fucking dude, the way they came out of that, dude, and just shook his feet like that, I thought he was going straight into the end zone, brother.
I find it interesting that they got Jerick McKinnon getting those touches instead of Clyde Edwards-Helaire
or Damian Williams.
Yeah, right.
Or sorry, Darrell Williams.
Yes, correct. I get the two confused too.
Well, because they
both played. Yeah.
And they're both still in the NFL. Yeah, Damian's up in Chicago. Man,
okay,
I really fucked my fantasy
showing
season
Bieniemy there and talking a little bit about coaches and stuff. Do you think the deal with Bieniemy is just that, no, I'm in line to be the heir to Andy here, and so just that's why I don't really go interview at other places or get hired for other head coaching gigs? Or
Mahomes
is it like
rolling, he throws the touchdown to Kelsey!
Unbelievable. That play was so much Pat Mahomes.
All right, I'm going to give you your replay.
Pat Mahomes things.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh my God.
I can't do I should do the full replay. I can't. So I'm going to just start it now, and you're done when you're done.
Dude.
Because if I go more
his back is turned to the play in the line of scrimmage
and that's a
for
terrible
at least
throw.
2 to 3 seconds.
Again, that's a terrible throw. There is no spiral. There is no spiral.
Throws an absolute wobbler.
That's just an incredible play again, defying all logic. I never thought about your Bieniemy take. I never thought about that. That might be the take. That might be the smart call, because that's the Josh McDaniels deal now. Is Josh McDaniels pulled out of that? This isn't been officially announced, but anybody with a fucking brain can figure this out. Josh Daniels pulled out of that Indy job to go back to New England because Robert Kraft called him and said, "Don't be my next Bill Belichick." Like, if I would have known X, Y, and Z, I would have kept Bill and not gone with Pete. Right? Like, and same thing. If Bill wanted to be a head coach after he left Cleveland, he should have never gone to New York for a day. He should have just signed here. So let's not do that again. Just stay here. You're my next guy.
Yep.
I never thought about that with Eric Bieniemy, but you might be right, man. It might be exactly that.
It's the only explanation I can come up with, other than the ones that get put out as far as he's got personality issues, he interviews poorly, and he doesn't call the plays. Andy Reid calls the plays.
Well, so Andy's black.
Right. But like, those are the only reasons I've ever heard.
That's really not a thing anymore. Being a black coach is not really a thing anymore.
Depending on where you're applying, that can work in your favor. I think, at this point in time.
No, I think
Possibly.
you nailed it. I think it comes down to interviewing
but-
skills, because there's guys like Mike Zimmer, a white dude, right, who was a genius and a success, and it still took him 20-something years to get a job, and it's because they don't interview well.
Yep.
And I think a lot of us want to attribute things to race or roles or whatever, and it oftentimes just simply comes down to that.
Exactly.
There's also... It didn't really matter who Mike Zimmer's defensive coordinator was. Those people have a hard time getting jobs because everybody goes, well, Mike's running the defense. You're just there. So, no, I'm not going to hire you as a head coach. So, like you kind of said, it depends on where you're interviewing. It also depends on where you're coming from. And the number one way to get a job is to be a coach for a Super Bowl winner.
Mm-hmm.
However, there are certain teams that have been smart enough to figure out, no, like the guy who's winning the Super Bowls is the reason they're like, you don't just go grab someone off their staff. Like, I think that whole thing's kind of funny too.
Yeah. Well, they come from a tree. And so if we just take a part of that tree and plant it in our organization, it will blossom into the same thing. These coaching trees. What tree do you come from? Whatever. Can you coach or not? I don't care what tree you come from.
I wonder about that, though, because we're starting to see it work again, right?
It's so fraternalized.
Well, here's what I think's interesting. You know who the only coaching tree that
just
is
nepotism
bullshit?
Without blood involved.
You know whose coaching tree is bullshit? And he's the only one who has a coaching tree that's bullshit. It's Bill Parcells. All the Joe Walsh coaching tree.
Yes.
Legit.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Then you look at the new one, which is the Mike Shanahan coaching tree. Seems to be super legit. Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan. I mean, fucking the list goes on. There is no Bill Parcells coaching tree. The real coaching tree is Bill Belichick, because that's where Nick Saban came from. That's where a lot of the other names came from, dude. Like, that's the other coaching tree.
Mike Vrabel in Tennessee.
And people want to go, oh, well, Andy Reid coaching tree. No. He comes from
he comes from someone else's tree.
I think I said Joe Walsh. I think I said Joe Walsh. The Bill Walsh coaching tree. Oh, game's back on.
I appreciate.
All right, here we go. Cincinnati's in shotgun. It's 1st and 10. See, he seems
so
rushed,
much
man.
pressure.
He seems
That's
rushed.
what I'm saying about that Bengals O-line. The Chiefs' defense is able to generate pressure from time to time. They seem to be better at it every postseason than they are every regular season, too, for some reason.
That's what championship teams do.
We call it the Brashad Breeland effect here. We wasted money on a bad signing with that guy simply because of the success he had during the Chiefs' postseason runs. Not during anything he did during their actual seasons.
But hey, man, that also ends up being legit, where guys show up in the most, like, there's guys like, yeah, dude, I get outshined all season long, but man, when the game's on the line, put me in, coach.
Right, but
Joe Mixon.
But they're role dependent.
First down.
They are very dependent on the right role at the right time. If you don't get that guy in the right role at the right time,
I mean, we see this all the time, dude. It's not just the Vikings. It's not the Brashad.
Actually, everybody. It's everybody.
I think it's
every
more
team.
the who's it? Damian Tyree, the Giants helmet catch.
Oh yeah, David Tyree.
David Tyree. He got way overpaid for one catch, but it's the most clutch catch maybe in NFL history.
Yeah. Maybe one of the luckiest too, like depending on how you define that term.
You know who the greatest wide receiver of all time was, as far as like per dollar paid?
Per dollar. So like pound for pound.
It's Danny Amendola.
Okay.
It's Danny Amendola, and it's the consistency he brought you as a slot receiver, like a Wes Welker.
See, and that's the name that I would have won
the Super Bowl, and he had another one of those catches against the Falcons. Remember, like the crazy weird bobble.
And Welker got bigger contracts throughout his career,
and Welker never won a Super Bowl, including out in Denver when he went to go play with Peyton for 2 years.
Welker was like one of the best fantasy football sleepers in history. If you were in a PPR league at the time that he was in the league. You'd get that guy like 7th to 11th round every year.
It's not Danny Amendola. Sorry, it's Julian Edelman.
Okay.
That's who it was. Not Danny Amendola. What the fuck am I talking about? You guys got to start correcting me in chat.
It's not your fault that all these freaking Patriots wide receivers are completely like interchangeable.
Well, Tom Brady loves a great slot wide receiver.
This is true.
He loves a great slot wide receiver, and he loves a great tight end. That's why I always thought it was hilarious that he was bitching in New England about his wide receivers. It was like, bitch, you don't throw to them.
Right? You throw to the tight ends in the slot and the running backs.
Yeah,
dude, you don't throw to the wide. You don't throw to the wide receivers.
So Jim Harbaugh.
That's a rough
Jim
third
Harbaugh.
down play.
I say hire Jim Harbaugh and give him everything he wants.
I would have no problem with that. I would not object to that. That was not my first choice, but it was definitely one of the choices on my list of choices I'm totally cool with.
Have you heard the new list?
So I have heard the new list.
What's the one you heard? Because I want to see if they match.
D'Amico Ryan.
Yep.
Kevin O'Connell.
Yep.
And Jim Harbaugh.
Yep. That's the new one.
Yep.
And
that
honestly,
is the newest list I've heard of.
Those are the three I would be down to.
Sure.
Because I wanted Nate Hackett.
Yep. And I wasn't big on Hackett, but that was more of a mystery, not big on him. Not like I know things to be against him. It's more of just a mystery, thing.
The only reason I would pick him is because if you look at Anwar had to say this to me 2 or 3 times before it finally it's unbelievable. Look at Kirk Cousins' stats from this year, like the amount of interceptions he threw this year. He had a great season.
Oh yeah.
If you look at Aaron Rodgers' last 3 seasons combined, he's thrown less interceptions than that.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. No, Rodgers' touchdown to interception ratio, especially the last 3 years or so, has been nothing short of remarkable, historic, unprecedented type of stuff. To be throwing 30 touchdowns and 2 to 4 interceptions, it's
weird, dude.
Insane. It's absolutely insane. But how many freaking Super Bowl appearances has that resulted in? 0.
Right? So I'm convinced, I think you brought this up originally, and I had to go back and double check it. But it seems to be that you're completely right. Any quarterback who's consumed more than 12% of the salary cap in NFL history, and if I'm wrong on total NFL history, then it's still true in modern day salary cap, modern day playoff, modern day 16 game, whatever, right? So 80 whatever plus.
Yep.
12%.
Yep.
Any quarterback who's consumed more than 12% of the salary cap, you can't win a Super Bowl like that.
Yep.
So that's what makes me curious about Mahomes.
And for anybody who wants to really nitpick, if you were to get the precise statistic, it might be 12.3% or 12.5%, but it's 12 something.
I have a feeling somebody rounded up to 12, if I'm being honest.
Right. It might actually be 11.7 or something, and it was rounded up to 12.
Yeah, or 11.95.
I just know that 12...
Or maybe a guy hit exactly 12%, and that's the last big contract.
But I just know that 12 is where the red flag is. The farther we go past 12, the much less our chances get with that investment and the ultimate return that we hope to get out of it.
Yep.
And
people get paid and shit.
And this is just history. These are market trends, and these are realities. These are not just projections or anything like that. This is a study and a research of actual events.
Yeah.
And
you're better at that shit than I am. So when I come up with those stats, it's mind blowing. When I find a stat, it's crazy because I'm not that guy. You're that guy.
Yep.
You're the guy who does that kind of shit.
I feel like if the Chiefs go on to win
here we
the
go.
Super
First and
Bowl,
10. Chiefs got the ball on their own 27.
This play plays
out.
28. Nice, safe. That's a great way to stay ahead of the chains and stay on pace on first down.
Nice 4-yard run right up the gut.
I feel like if the Chiefs go on to win the Super Bowl this year, that they will become the first team to buck that trend with how much Mahomes makes up of their thing. Or did they?
He's still not in that big contract.
Okay. So it is structured in a way.
They extended it
this season.
They didn't re-sign him. They extended him. So that big ass contract, I don't even think it technically starts next year. I think his big contract technically starts the year after next. Next year is his 5th year option, which they already picked up.
Gotcha.
So it's and that's what I'm really getting at.
Look at what the Seahawks did.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at is these guys that are winning Super Bowls in the last 10, 15, 20 years, they're all winning on their rookie contracts.
Yep. The one
except for Rodgers, but Rodgers still didn't really get paid.
Yep.
He sat under Favre for 3 years. Then I think he won the Super Bowl in his 5th year, on his 5th-year option, I believe.
Yep.
And you guys can look that up and correct me in chat if I'm wrong on that.
The one thing I want to throw in on this is one or some of your key starters players need to be playing on their rookie contract in order for you to win the Super Bowl. It does not always need to be your quarterback, but you need some.
It's hard to get a great quarterback
last year
under
with
12,
the Bucks.
but this is the theme.
Last year with the Bucks, it was Tristan Wirfs at right tackle.
True, but let's slow down. Hold on. You are correct, but it is hard to win a quarterback with a great, or win a Super Bowl with a great quarterback under 12% when he's not on his rookie contract.
Yes, absolutely.
But you're correct.
100%.
Wide receivers,
100%.
same thing. You have one of the best wide receivers in the league, still on a rookie contract. We did that math on a podcast. Remember?
Yep.
Like, people say, don't invest money in running backs. I'm saying don't invest money in wide receivers, because if you look back, the last time somebody won the Super Bowl was the early 2000s, like 2001, 2002, something like that, with Peyton Manning. Marvin Harrison was on a big contract, but what's his name? Reggie Wayne was not. And that was the last time anybody ever made money or won a Super Bowl with money invested in that position.
Yep.
I mean, look at what happened with the Vikes.
Should maybe buck that then with Tyreek Hill.
Is he on a big contract?
That's why I said maybe.
You're better. Again, you're better at this. Look it up.
I'll need to check that out.
Guys, actually, in chat, there's a bunch of people.
Yeah,
how much is put in chat? And if you guys can't comment, all you got to do is subscribe on YouTube or follow on Twitch. It's free. Just subscribe or follow or whatever. Hang out for a minute, but put in chat. I want to know how much Tyreek Hill is being paid this year. Like, what is his cap hit this year? And then, if you want to really be a baller, divide that by the NFL salary cap this year, so we can find out an exact percentage of how much Tyreek Hill is being paid. Because I want to boil this down to the same stat we came up with for quarterbacks. So somebody sat down and looked at every Super Bowl winner and divided that quarterback's current salary by the salary cap and figured out it's never more than 12%. I want to know. And I'll do this long run, but I want to know currently right now, what is Tyreek Hill being paid and what is the percentage of the salary cap that equals out to? And then I'm going to take that number and I'm going to run it back and see the last time it was beaten.
My phone wasn't garbage, I could tell you, but...
Did you make it on the Wi-Fi?
Yeah, there we go, slowly. Yeah, yep, I am on the Wi-Fi. So... Watching last week's
Clyde
Chiefs game,
Edwards-Helaire is a terrible running back.
Watching last week's Chiefs game, watching this Chiefs game, it has appeared to me that the Chiefs' offensive line and the upgrades that they made to it in the offseason have gelled and appear to be an improvement over what they had last year.
That's why I wanted Ryan Poles as the GM.
Early on in the season, I know it didn't appear that way at first to some people, but Creed Humphrey, the rookie center, there's one of their rookies, starting role.
Yep.
I want to say he was the top graded PFF center in all of football this year as a rookie. He happened to be a rookie, but of all centers in all of NFL, Creed Humphrey, Kansas City Chiefs, was PFF's number 1 graded. Tooney from the Patriots at guard, perennial Pro Bowler. Orlando Brown seems like he can play left tackle. Maybe not quite as good as he is at right tackle, but plenty good enough. Way better than Remmers and the garbage they were running through there last year.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that frustrates me. I'm telling you, the reason Spielman lost his job is because he couldn't draft quarterbacks and he couldn't draft O-linemen.
Yep.
And then Zimmer, the reason he ended up losing his job is because we had Tyler Thigpen. We had
Tyler
Taylor
Thigpen.
Heineke.
We had Taylor Heineke. Yep.
There's one more out there. There's one more of our backups that it ended up actually proven to be kind of legit.
At least being competent.
Yep.
To an extent somewhere else.
And then all the O-linemen between John Sullivan, Pat Elflein. So Zimmer proved he couldn't develop quarterbacks and he couldn't develop O-linemen. I'm sorry, man. I had Ezra Tuolo from the Vikings sit on the podcast right where you're sitting now, and we both acknowledged the fact that you have to build from the inside out. Your O-line and your defensive line, you have to start there and make sure those are great. And then the most important single position, though, is quarterback. So if you're missing 2 out of those 3, you got to go.
Wide open, easy money.
Touchdown.
Easy money.
21-3. See, this is what I was afraid of.
Yeah, me too.
I was afraid of the fact that last week all the games were going to be so great that this week they'd be blowouts. Yep. I knew I should have streamed last weekend.
See, and I could see the second one not necessarily being a blowout, but being much more defensive based, more lower scoring, and that being kind of just the entertainment value issue, that people have with the Rams-Niners game. But
the problem I have with the Rams-Niners game, looking forward, is the Niners seem to have the Rams number. All right, so here we are. It's 21-3.
It would appear to me that Tyreek Hill is either currently counting as a $15.85 million cap hit or a $20.6 million cap hit.
So if they win, that would count as a big contract in my mind.
Definitely. I would concur.
But you're also looking at somebody who's not a normal wide receiver.
True. True. A little bit more of an OW than a WR.
I mean, I don't even know if I don't even.
That's a Dexter McCluster reference.
I was just going to say, I don't even know if I can quantify those things. I was just referring to he's also like a Michael Jordan. He's so fast. He's so quick. He has great hands. You could try to say he doesn't run great routes, but I think what he's doing is he's improving all his routes. And to me, that says that his vision, his field vision is literally, if field vision was a Madden stat, which it used to be, his would be a 200. When the highest ranking is 99, his is at 200.
Yep.
It's absurd. It's absurd what Tyreek Hill is able to do. I
totally agree with you. He doesn't necessarily run these precise, fundamental routes, but every route he runs sets up a future route for success.
Sure.
Because
his ability to accelerate.
He's going to run those first 3 steps 5 plays from now the same way, but do something after it totally different, and that's when he's freaking busted open and big play. And he doesn't need to hit. He's not a 10 catches for 80 yards possession receiver type of guy. He's like, I just need to hit the big home run touchdown every once in a while.
He could go off for 17 catches and 200 yards, which I seen him do in my fantasy league, and 5 touchdowns.
If you want to turn him into a yards after catch guy, you can totally do that.
The craziest shit. You remember in the Super Bowl a few years ago when Antoine Winfield gave him the peace after he beat his ass, and that was because earlier in the season he put up the peace signs
for that or whatever. That was so dumb.
Which the flag was legit. The flag was legit, but that's also what you get for piecing him earlier in the season. That's how football works, right? Just deal with it. I ain't mad at that flag if I'm the coach. I'm going, that's a good flag. When Antoine comes to the sideline, I'm pretending to yell at him, and then I'm pulling him aside, and I'm going, me yelling at you is for show.
Yeah, right,
give me a little nut bump. Give me a little nut bump. That was a great flag. Great flag.
Right.
Fuck that guy.
Right. That flag doesn't hurt us, and the message you sent to him helps us.
Fuck that guy. That's the point. Yep. Fuck that guy. Yep. This is a gladiator sport we're talking about.
No, that's what I was saying. I was 100%. I liked that he gave him the peace sign.
Dude, but here's my point.
If I'm his coach, if I'm his teammate.
Last week, Tyreek Hill did the same thing. He gave him the peace sign while the dude was in front of him, and he looked at him and went, see ya, I'm going by you. He's so fast, dude. That's what I'm getting at.
That's
He's so
Babe
fast.
Ruth stuff, man. That's calling your shots type of stuff.
All right. Shout out to Kyle. Thanks for dropping in, buddy. He said he might be wrong. Okay, shout out to Kyle Sandhagen. but his cap says $20.6 million with a dead cap of 2.65
for Tyreek. Yeah,
that's coming from Google, right. But it's confusing, is what he says. It's and you kind of alluded to a similar thing.
I pulled up some stuff on Spotrac.
Here's what it probably is. I'm going to clarify. It's probably similar to Kirk Cousins' deal, where no matter how you look at it, Kirk Cousins has a cap hit of $35 million next year, but after March 19th, it moves to 42.
Sure.
It's probably something like that you guys are dealing with. So he probably has the dead cap is like the only bit of guaranteed money he has. So I want to.
Still, that is a big contract.
I was just going to say, I would still say then $20 million is a huge amount to be paying to a wide receiver in a single year.
Okay, here's a question then. What is the current league salary cap?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea.
Well, let's just guess that the current league salary cap is about like $185 million.
I was just going to guess 200. That's funny. I bet chat could come up with that one way quicker. What is current NFL salary cap? Shout out to Kyle. You know Kyle?
Yeah, I know Kyle. Yep.
Dope. Thanks for hanging out, bud. Yeah, the whole point of this is if you guys want to watch this podcast and watch the football game, just mute the game, use the graphic at the bottom of the screen, pause your game because you guys are probably a little bit ahead of us. If not, if somehow we're ahead of you, then pause this podcast. But otherwise, you just use your DVR, pause the game, and then sync it up so we can watch it together. And if this game gets better, we'll stop talking and start doing more play-by-play and commentary and shit.
I think they really need to start utilizing more T. Higgins, tight end Uzama.
They got to slow the game down and run the football.
Try to get away from forcing it to Chase.
They got to run the football so much.
Dude. Yeah, and establish Mixon as well. Chase isn't going to open it up for the other guys. The other guys need to open it up for Chase in this one because Chiefs defense is way too keyed in on pressure Burrow.
Burrow is terrified right now.
And double Jamar. That's the whole Chiefs freaking defensive game plan.
And I'm looking at Joe's face right now. Joe's already defeated. Here's the replay. Maybe you guys will see this. They didn't show you his face. They went to Pat's face. That's fucked up. He's over there like smirking and smiling like, I got this.
If the salary cap this year is around 188, 190 million.
208.2 million.
Damn.
So at that rate, he is literally just below 10%.
Yeah, so he's less than 10%.
So now we can take that number, and I want to see if Marvin Harrison was being paid more than 10% of his respective cap in 2000, whatever the fuck, the Colts won the Super Bowl with Manning.
See, because relativity is important to increase our comprehension.
And I'll do that. Man. I don't want you guys. I want you guys to enjoy and have fun and hang out with us. You guys don't have to keep. But I appreciate all you guys out there being our Jamie because we don't have a real producer here yet.
T. Higgins again. Great second.
I decided I'm going to go get a job, like a day job, just a part-time piece of shit job, so I can rent a real studio and get out of the house and pay for a producer.
Hell yeah.
Because it didn't monetize fast enough. By the way, if you guys want to, if you guys like what you're seeing, feel free to join the Patreon. Jared Singer Live. Patreon.com/Jared Singer Live, whatever. But yeah, basically, it didn't monetize as fast as I had hoped, but we're still doing very, very well.
Awesome.
YouTube's really slow. We're way behind on YouTube, but whatever.
You plan on running this for big game Super Bowl Sunday?
I do think we're going to do something. Is what I'd like to do is find a venue and do a real party. I don't think we can pull it off in 2 weeks.
Sure.
But I think the smart thing to do is, we'll do something down here. I'm thinking is what I'll also do is if you want to come down and we get like Anwar.
Kind of think I would like
maybe
to,
a group.
Yeah.
I'll switch the table the long way so there can be 3, 4, 5 guys hanging out on this end.
Cool. That'd be great. Did that giant hand just slap Machine Gun Kelly into like a giant pool of water? Because I'm going to watch that Jackass movie.
What's up with Megan Fox dating the greasiest white dudes on the planet? Like, if you want to know what a sleazy, greasy white dude looks like or seems like, look at the last two dudes Megan Fox is with. They're like shitty rappers. They're both pretty shitty rappers. Like, they're pretty, but they're shitty at rapping.
There's only two words that I can use to attempt to explain Megan Fox's psyche, personality.
She's got to be super insecure, right? And super shallow.
Daddy issues. That bitch got major daddy issues.
Wait, what? What does her dad look like? Issues. That only tracks if her dad looks like her last two boyfriends.
She's got dad issues. She grew up without one, or she grew up with an alcoholic one, or she grew up with a...
No, seriously though, like
daddy issues.
The daddy or mommy
issues.
You
don't have that bad a taste in men as a woman unless you have dad issues.
Daddy and mommy issues only tracks if your lovers actually look like your parent.
That would be more of a complex.
You think?
Yeah.
So it's past issues into complex.
Yep. That would be yeah. Yep. So maybe same umbrella, but different branches. I don't know. It's just a guess. Because she's just one of those that makes you slap your forehead all the time, man. Like, what? I don't get you. You're so desperate for attention. You're so insecure.
Did you know?
Like, insecurity is massive.
That photo they just showed on the screen just reminded me. Did you know that fucking Patrick Mahomes, when he signed his $500 million contract, do you know what he did with the money?
Mm-mm.
He went and bought part of the Kansas City Royals.
Hell yeah. Dude, that's awesome.
Genius.
That's so awesome.
What a fucking genius,
That's
dude.
so awesome, because that ties me into a thought that you brought up in me earlier that I wasn't able to finish. When we were
I didn't
talking
let you
about,
finish an idea?
Well,
no way.
No.
Me?
I just didn't finish it. I just didn't finish it. But when we were talking about Mahomes and Elway and having baseball backgrounds and some other quarterbacks that have that too. In addition, it's not just a baseball background with Pat Mahomes. He also has a pro sports upbringing. Sure. With his baseball background.
Very good point.
As from age 0 through his entire life, he grew up with a father in professional sports, being in pro clubhouses, being around pro coaches. So like I feel like
so when all his idiot little friends in high school were fucking around, he's like, "Listen, man, I'm getting real advice from
touchdown
real pros.
Bengals, we got a game.
Holy shit!" And it's Samaje Perine.
Chiefs
or do you
defense?
say Perine? How do you pronounce his last name?
I don't know.
I say Perine.
Perine. That works. That sounds good.
I heard Perine.
That sounds terrible.
Here's your replay.
Is Shane?
He just catches
Shane or Sean, something like that. Samaje. Knew it started with it. Samsonite. I was way off.
Samsonite.
I knew it started with an S. I knew it started with an S though.
Samsonite. Oh man, I was way off. That was a great.
Oh man, that's it. Oh, rest of his life, that guy's gonna be Samsonite Perine to me.
Oh, Samsonite Perine. Oh man.
All right.
That's good.
Chiefs defense looking like they're run by Mike Zimmer. They're giving up a touchdown in the final 2 minutes before the half.
Oh, fuck off.
Sorry, couldn't resist.
I honestly, no, it's fair. It's totally fair. I honestly, here's the deal. I genuinely, for the first time in my life, feel bad for both of them. I feel bad for Mike Zimmer, and I legitimately feel bad for Rick Spielman, because I both think they did great jobs. They just didn't work well together.
Completely agree. I think it's a great example.
It was the opposite of Ebony and Ivory.
I think it's a great example of chemistry being a real thing and a real necessary ingredient in achieving the ultimate success. And they didn't have the necessary amount of it.
I agree. Yeah, and you heard shit about this, and it's like, man, I feel like we're watching. Here's the problem. We're the guys who gave Monty Kiffin a head coaching job.
Sure. The USC, Tennessee.
No, not Lane Kiffin. Monty Kiffin.
Right.
The guy.
You're right. Yeah, I was thinking of Lane.
The guy who late in his career refused every head coaching job because he goes, I like being a defensive coordinator, and I'm great at it. I am not a good head coach, and I don't like it.
Yep.
That's Mike Zimmer.
Yep.
Here's the problem.
100% agree.
Especially after I'm watching what happens today, and I predicted this last year. I said, here's what's going to happen. I think we were on a podcast. I said, you know what's going to fucking happen? Because we talked about, do you fire Zimmer? And I said, no, you got to give him one more year. I get it. COVID fucked up all teams equally, but it's a COVID year. You got to give Mike Zimmer one more year to adapt. Well, he had one more year. But I also said, but he's not going to succeed. But you have to. But he's not going to succeed. We're going to fire him. And this is what's going to happen. He's going to go back to Cincinnati. He's going to become their defensive coordinator again because you know they're in love with him. Cincinnati just takes everything back from Minnesota. And boom, next year they'll be Super Bowl champions. That's what I'm saying. Next year, the Bengals will be Super Bowl champs with Mike Zimmer as defensive coordinator. And then he might even retire.
See, and I totally agree with that there's just certain jobs or roles that's what the people are best in and meant for. Mm-hmm. You brought up some great names, of which Zimmer is one. A couple other ones that I always think of in that too. Wade Phillips is one of the first names I always think of. Like, I love that guy as a defensive coordinator. When he went and was head coach, not very good. Went back to being D coordinator after being head coach. Great defense again. Like just another one of those guys. And I think Vic Fangio is probably going to be another one of those guys that you see here real soon.
Dude, if the Vikings can hurry their asses up and stop being a bunch of fucking weak dick bitches, just hire Jim Harbaugh. Just hire Jim Harbaugh. And let Jim Harbaugh turn around and hire Vic Fangio and watch the Vikings go to the Super Bowl next year or the year after. Because I don't think people understand. And I realize I'm turning into Joe Rogan. I got a phrase that I say a lot. I don't think people understand. I say that too much. But I don't think people understand how good Jim Harbaugh was. He took the Niners to the Super Bowl his second year there.
Yeah. Yep.
His first year, NFC Championship.
They were 13. Yeah. Yep.
His third year, NFC Championship.
Yep. Correct.
The guy is so fucking good.
And he didn't pull a John Gruden where he walked into a freaking championship bowl ready freaking situation.
Correct.
Either.
He took the trash ass Niners.
Yes. He took a 500 or sub 500 team to that instantly.
Hire him. Get him in here as fast as possible. Oh, we got a comment from your boy. Kyle says, I feel like the Bengals will give up another touchdown and a field goal this game, but will score at least twice more and bring it close.
Nice. I would love that.
I see KC getting a little tired. You might be right. We'll see. Their offense ain't tired.
No. Yeah, exactly. Kansas City offense looks as fresh as they did right out of the gate. But I would agree that the Kansas City defense does appear to be, showing a little bit more vulnerability as the game progresses.
And that's what we were talking about earlier, is let's see what happens with the adjustments.
And I brought up the Bengals offensive line earlier. The other unknown question mark, potential weakness
footwork.
for me.
He can have perfect
what a pocket
footwork.
He had to work with there, too. He had a fantastic pocket to
It's not just that he doesn't have good footwork. It's he doesn't need his footwork to be perfect, but when he has a clean pocket and he just, again, there's perfect footwork again.
Yep. But I have always been skeptical of this Bengals defense all year. I know that people have said they've been a good defense, that some of their numbers defensively have been good, but I look at the names and I just go, I don't see how the sum can be that much greater than its individual parts. And I don't see very many impressive individual parts.
Yeah, you're probably right.
This defense,
you're probably right. Man, this cigar is falling apart on me.
Bates is a fantastic safety. He would be one of the very few names on that Bengals.
Let me ask you this: where'd Zach Taylor come from? Whose coaching tree did he come from? Is he part of that Kyle Shanahan shit?
Zach Taylor from the Bengals guy?
Yeah.
Really good.
No,
question.
don't look it up. I want to test your memory.
I don't know.
Do you guys know in chat? Who did Zach Taylor, who is he? He's clearly an offensive coordinator. I would be shocked if somebody told me he was a defensive coordinator. Could have been, though. Like that dude from Staley from fucking San Diego.
Yeah.
That guy's the shit.
I like him.
That guy is the man.
Yep.
You know he might be on the hot seat.
He's like the anti-Matt Rule.
Exactly. And now remember when I laughed and mocked Matt Rule on social media?
Oh, yes.
I went after him, and I went after Joe Judge. You remember that? I'm telling you, man, I know how to pick leaders, dude. Ooh. We both gave the ooh.
That was a lick. Looked just short of the first down marker.
Kelsey took a shot for the listeners.
Nope, they kept it short.
Yeah, he was short.
Good spot on that. Well, just in situations like this, when it's that close to the chains, it's so easy to just go, or so easy to make the convenient choice. Just go, just put it a half-inch cross, move the chains. But I like when they protect the integrity.
You think Mike McCarthy should have lost his job?
I never thought that Mike McCarthy was the right hire in the first place there. But I don't think that anybody on that staff deserved to be fired for being one and done in the playoffs this year. Like, to me, everybody put enough body of work there in this regular season, at 12-4 and winning the division or whatever, to where they should be safe from a one and done firing this year, in my opinion.
I got you. Let me ask you this. Out of the three, D'Amico Ryans, who they're saying might actually be a fucking Mike Tomlin clone, Jim Harbaugh, who's proven, and a guy who looks like Clark Kent in a B movie version of Superman, and Kevin O'Connell. Out of those three, who you picking? I'm giving you the magic wand. You're the new GM.
To me, the sexiest is O'Connell.
That's clearly holding.
Yeah, you got to call that. To me, the sexiest is O'Connell. To me, the smartest, the most logical is Harbaugh.
No shit.
Yeah. Yep. Because of the history, because of the track record, because you have data relevant to what you're trying to project. That is.
So why is he not the sexiest? Because he's also got the name.
Because O'Connell is young and there's a mystery. So he's got that youth on his side.
He's got a chiseled jaw that looks like he could fucking cut diamonds.
There's a mystery in what the ceiling is. Where like Harbaugh is a safe super high ceiling, but he doesn't have a Super Bowl championship on the resume. So like, sure, we feel like he can get us there, but can he get us the prize? Right. Whereas with O'Connell, it's like, well, shit, we don't know. Maybe he's a Belichick type of guy where he can get us there and get us the prize all the time. So that's just where I think O'Connell, and being, offense, just coming from that offense, McVay, hot right now type of scene. That's where I use the sexier pick.
I see what you're saying.
And no offense to D'Amico Ryans, like,
whereas
I'm cool with D'Amico.
Whereas Harbaugh's not only logical, but he's more of a splash because of the name.
Yes,
he may not be the sexiest pick, but he's more of. I see what you're saying. I got you. Exactly. Dude, if they go up 28-10, I'm telling you, this game's over.
And honestly, D'Amico is probably the most Minnesota type of the three.
Who?
D'Amico Ryan. Of the three names now, I think he's the most Minnesota-esque, based off of just like what our fan base's style and preferences are, and like personality traits, things like that, or just our given history. But we might have a big portion of the fan base that's fed up with that and feels like we've had that old...
He's going to get in. Oh, he didn't
feels like we've had that kind of old, outdated...
Wow!
I can't believe they didn't kick that field goal and went for that and didn't get it.
That's the worst... That's the single worst decision I've ever seen Mahomes make.
This is
a terrible decision.
It's a terrible play call, too, though.
You don't make this decision here, Mahomes. You throw it over his head out of bounds so you can still kick a field goal. What are you doing? You had 9 seconds. So this is crazy to me.
Because he went for timeout immediately.
We just watched this same team say 13 seconds to drive the field, Mahomes said, hold my beer, and won the game. And with 9 seconds inside the red zone, Mahomes makes one of the most asinine decisions I've ever seen in my life.
The only play to call in that situation, if you're going to run a play, is the back corner fade. It's like a 1-2 step drop, one read. You throw it in the back corner of the end zone. Either that guy catches it, or that's the only play call for that situation.
Honestly, there's a ton of plays you can play. There's a ton of plays you can run.
If you want to keep it safe and not unnecessarily lose momentum, going into halftime, that's the play you call because it's either a touchdown or an incompletion.
It's a little tough to run a full play on 9 seconds, but it can be done. And there's a number of places you can throw that football.
You can't go short of the goal line on something like that, though.
Here's what I would have coached. If it's wide open, go for it.
Right.
But do not complete this ball behind the line of scrimmage. This has to go into the end zone, and unless he's wide open, just throw it way over his head, and let's kick the field goal because we're crushing right now. Let's take a 14-point lead, not an 11-point lead into halftime.
Right. In a situation like that, you can only throw to the check down guy if he becomes your pre-snap first read based off of what the defense is showing you. That's when you can throw to the check down guy short of the goal line because it's going to be wide open. The play's going to have time. But you can't check down to him 3-4 seconds after the play has already
That's a great point.
Can't do that.
Let's take a break, dude.
Cool.
This
is fun as hell.
I'm gonna go back to this main screen. I'm gonna let this song loop until we get back. So you got to go to the bathroom.
I don't, but I might anyway.
I got to take a look. That's one of the main reasons I'm saying let's go. All right, we'll be back. Don't go anywhere, guys. Just fill up your beverages. Do what you got to do.
This is too much fun, man.
It is fun, ain't it?
Too much fun. Dude, what'd you think about the fucking bullshit yesterday with Schefter and coming out and Tom Brady's retiring? Because somebody told me. And then, fucking 2-3 hours later, Tom Brady just told the GM to tell him. Made a decision. Joe Burrow, 10 of 18 for 101 yards. Mahomes, 18 of 21.
That's funny. I'm like, oh, I'm going to put this on loop, but I forgot that scene only stays there for 3 minutes. We are, but hold on. Yeah, we're off. You're good.
You
We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. All right. I can't see if the graphic is on or not. Let me know in chat if the graphic is on, if you guys still have the ability to see what's going on in game. It's finally starting to get warm in here. The studio's so chilly for so long, dude. It takes so long to warm this up. It took almost all of halftime. But then at halftime, I started getting warm.
Yeah, definitely.
I was like, what the fuck? Okay, yeah, the graphics. We're good.
This is just such a great example, though, of why way more often than not in the NFL now, we see the team that wins the coin toss defer and choose to receive in the second half.
Sure.
If you're trailing, it gives you a chance to cut into the lead. If you're winning, it gives you an immediate chance to extend your lead. Like it's
okay, John Madden.
Whatever. Well, I'm just saying, like, whatever situation you find yourself in coming out of halftime, it's most beneficial to have the ball.
Do you think you're going to want a lighter or a darker cigar? Do you know the difference?
Lighter.
You sure? Because lighter doesn't always mean smoother.
Yeah. Well,
here, I'll let you pick.
I'll
let you pick. So this is the sponsor of the podcast.
All right.
Okay. This is Marco V. They're local. Okay. They're coming on the podcast super soon, actually. I think next week. Okay. This is what's called a Habano. Okay. It's a type of leaf. And that's what's called a Maduro. It's a type of leaf. Okay? They're both pretty oily, so they're not going to be super dry. They're going to be nice to hold in your mouth.
All right.
Okay? This one is technically the darker, more flavorful.
Mm-hmm.
This is supposed to be more mild to medium. However, this is a serious however. I've noticed that lighter cigars, to me, are way harsher. So the smoother cigars, for me, are darker.
Gotcha.
Right? So I typically tell people to smoke a cigar based on the type of booze they like to drink. Right? So if your booze has color in it, so beer, whiskey, shit like that, you're typically going to lean darker.
Gotcha.
If you like
gotcha.
seltzers, vodka, tequila, you're typically going to lean lighter. That's the only way I can explain this to people.
I think you did a great job.
I'm actually going to smoke with this one.
Gosh, just another textbook Pat Mahomes throw, which means it's not textbook for anybody else.
Oh, damn. Somebody's out in the fucking... Is this what happened? Who is this? Who's in crutches?
I don't know. It almost appeered like it might have been Uzama.
Oh, you're going to need the cutter.
But I'm not sure. Yeah, that's right. Get me Mariano Rivera.
Yeah, the punch isn't going to work for that. That's like the only cigar a punch won't work for.
Oh, snap. Really bad snap. Another catchable ball, though. Dang, things are tight.
That's the first 3 and out. And that's why I said we'll see for these adjustments. I think it was massive that they didn't get that fucking touchdown or field goal at the end of half.
Agreed.
It's only 11 points.
And knowing that you got the ball first and that you've been scoring pretty much at will, why don't you just take the 3 points? You're up 14-0. Then worst case scenario, you come out here, you take another 3 points, and now you're up by 3 possessions.
3 scores, yeah.
Yep. However you want to word it.
Yep.
Like, just the difference between 16 points and 17 points is huge. You know? The difference between 8 points and 9 points is huge. And that's why I don't know. Now, if the Bengals were getting the ball first in the second half, I think it would have made a little more sense to be as aggressive as they were. I don't know. Part of me's had a feeling for about 2 days now that we're going to have a Super Bowl rematch from 2 years ago. That the Chiefs are going to win this game and the Niners are going to pull off the upset and we're going to get a rematch between the Chiefs and the Niners.
Oh, I would love that.
That's just what I've been feeling for about the past 2 days or so.
If they didn't win it with Sherman, they're not winning it this time either.
Nothing cerebral, just in my gut or something.
I see what you're saying. You're seeing the future a little bit.
I don't know.
Because I swear to God, dude, I was the only guy who woke up the morning of Super Bowl Sunday in 2007 and said the Giants are going to beat the Patriots today. And I went to bed thinking the Patriots are about to be the first undefeated team in NFL history. And I woke up that morning, looked at the paper, and I just went, it was the same thing I knew when the Vikings faced the Falcons in 98. I went, oh my God, they're going to lose. I knew the Patriots were going to lose that Super Bowl. I think that's what you're experiencing.
Maybe.
You can see the future. And now it's just a matter of whether we end up in your version of the future or not.
I really like that idea.
Like some multiverse
I really
shit,
like that idea. Yep. No, because in that way I'm never actually wrong. Like, no, somewhere what I said was going to happen happened.
Frank, you fucker, Frankie. Frankie in chat.
Mr. Gills?
Frankie in chat says, I like the one dude here. Scotty? Other dude, Jared? Not so much.
Oh, thanks, Frankie.
Frankie wins chat. Frankie won chat for the day for this game. We're gonna do both games, so Frankie won chat for this game.
Props to whoever put this video montage together for including Christian Okoye in that montage of great running backs.
Oh,
no, just great running backs. Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't great, but
he was dominant as hell.
He dominated
for about 2 seasons.
I was just gonna say he dominated for maybe 1.5 seasons, and then he got injured.
Yep, exactly.
But that was back in the day.
Nightmare.
Yeah, the Nigerian nightmare. But that was back in the day where, when you got injured like that because it was a knee or something, you were done. Yep. Like that was the end of your career.
Big completion to T. Higgins.
Nowadays, guys have fucking.
There is so much attention on Jamar Chase. There's got to be people open up. There's got to be other guys open. Yep.
Go ahead, break it down, Scotty.
Well, it looks just like simple zone coverage.
I think he came over. I think he came over the middle and ran an out route. Here he is. Yep, he faded to the middle. Then ran that out concept into the zone. Just found the little hole in the zone.
You've got the safety holding his deep responsibility on Chase. And that opens up a hole in the zone for the other wide receiver there, which is T. Higgins, and that's just pretty basic identifying that, okay, we're going up against a zone coverage, not a man coverage. So,
I turned the thing off.
So this route sets up this other route, and boom,
I got to turn the seed switcher back on. Otherwise, we're going to get flagged. We're probably still going to get flagged by the NFL now.
Bengals taking advantage of the attention that Jamar Chase is getting. Finally. That is going to be key. T. Higgins, Joe Mixon, guys like that doing the bulk of the work here, and then Chase getting the glory ball at the end when the attention finally goes off of him for just a split second.
Yeah, and when you're in no man's land here between the 40 and the 40, which is where I think they are, run it.
Yes, exactly. This is where you run the ball to get in the red zone. Absolutely.
Oh, they're past no man's land.
2nd and 9. Behind the chains, you really want to be about 2nd and 7 at the worst, 2nd and 5 preferably, to have more of a, to consider your playbook more fully open from a play calling standpoint. But 2nd and 9.
2nd and long sucks.
2nd and 9 is a play call.
As long as you pick up
behind
4 yards. As long as you pick up 4 yards, though, you still got 3rd and short.
It's nothing
or 3rd and medium.
You have to not overreact to 2nd and behind the chains.
Yeah, you just don't want to be at 3rd and 7. If you're better than 3rd and 7, 3rd
the percentages
and 6,
are crazy.
5, yeah.
Conversion percentage.
Now it's 2nd 14. Now you're fucked.
Oh, see, exactly. That's what you can't have. Because now instead of needing a 4-yard play to get back on script, you need a freaking 9-yard play. Nice defense. Really good deflection there by the linebacker. Willie Gay, I believe. Rookie as well, I'm pretty sure. 3rd or 4th round pick.
That dude's super happy right now.
Nice. Really classy. 3rd and long was a big opportunity for the Bengals. Still is. Forcing the Chiefs. Oh, going
Pass
deep. I think you're hoping for the pass interference when you decide to throw that.
I was just going to say that. Yep. Yeah, they're definitely trying to just kind of force the issue, quite literally there.
And on 3rd and 14, obviously that is your highest
that's a
percentage.
Shit route run by your tight end there under
if
nice
he
Sample.
if he decides to go to Sample with that though instead of T-Hig, that might have had a different result. You could see from the.
It was a shit route run by Sample. He's not completing that either. That ain't going. It was a terrible route run.
The angle to having a window at the sideline was a little better with Sample, but I don't trust Sample's ability to make the play.
No flag. He got blocked into him. If there's going to be a flag, it should actually be on Kansas City. He got blocked into him. Here it comes. Here's your replay. Oh, he didn't get blocked into him. That's my bad.
Yeah, he definitely made contact and wasn't pushed into him.
No, I thought he was blocked into him, dude. I was ready to throw down the gauntlet over that one.
Granted, the contact was completely,
Incidental.
unimpactful.
Incidental.
It had no impact on anything whatsoever.
You gonna fire up your Cigar?
Yeah.
Smoke some Cigars.
Wasn't like it made him drop the ball or anything.
Shout out to Marco V. He sponsors the regular podcast. They're not sponsoring the channel. They're sponsoring the podcast. So technically this is free advertising for them. And technically these are not the cigars they supplied us with for the podcast. I think these are their 2 best cigars though. So I went and grabbed a couple extra of these. Hey, you got a good light on.
Nice flavor.
So you know you're smoking a good cigar when it actually tastes good the moment you light it. Truthfully.
Sure.
Most cigars, that first inch or two, it's kind of bullshit.
Yep.
You really got to kind of ruminate the fucking tobacco. It's got to heat itself up. You got to draw a little bit through, get some of that fucking.
There's a science to everything that's going on.
There's a lot of chemistry. There's a lot of chemistry
Yep.
happening here.
Yep.
That's exactly correct, dude. And you know you're smoking a good cigar when it tastes good right away. The other big thing is you know you're smoking a good cigar. You see how even this burn is?
I'm sorry, I just saw Beavis and Butthead and Cartman all standing around a campfire going,
SpongeBob,
oh,
and there's the dude from Reno 911 and the Halo guy. What the fuck is going on right now?
Beavis was all Cornholio mode, going,
that's all. Those are all Paramount properties.
I don't care. You already got my money, Paramount Plus. You got it from the stupid. Well, I shouldn't say stupid. You got it from the South Park pandemic specials.
So here's the other thing to watch.
All right.
Is the evenness. You see how even that is?
Yes.
There's that one weird little hump there, but everything else is super even.
Mm-hmm.
That's another big key on whether you're smoking an actually good cigar. Really shitty cigars, or if you're smoking them improperly, they'll burn uneven. So like towards the end of this one, it eventually kind of flattened out, but there was a period of time where I was either smoking it too hot or too slow.
Okay.
And it started to develop kind of a slope, like a little quarter pipe. Like I'm going to go skateboarding with a fingerboard. Ooh, Kansas City backed up in their own end. They're going to take this ball in shotgun. 2 wide receivers right from their own 7-yard line. Ooh, Mahomes bobbled the snap,
action.
but he's going to do a nice little drop off to, who is that? Allaire, number 25?
That does look like CEH.
Yeah, that's number 25. He got a good 5-yard gain, so they brought it out to the 11. That's going to bring up, what, 2nd and 4?
There's been a lot of not clean or not smooth exchanges between rookie center Creed Humphrey and Pat Mahomes today. Whether
that one was on Mahomes because he's out of shotgun.
Under center or out of shotgun.
And they almost run exclusively out of shotgun, which means they're all on Mahomes at that point because is what's happening there. If you're correct, if there's a lot of those, that means Mahomes is taking his eyes off the football before he takes it.
Well, there's been 1 or 2 from the center that have just
handoff right on a jet sweep to McCole Hardman. That's a first down, bringing it out to.
There's been 1 or 2.
It looks like they're placing it at the 21-yard line.
I've seen at least 1 or 2 snaps that rolled and bounced back to Mahomes' feet, though, in shotgun situations, too. So,
hey, Scotty, do you see any similarities between Cousins and Burrow's game? Both struggling to escape the pocket. They could hurt their I think he means respective ceilings.
Burrow has really, really good mobility. Any difficulty that Burrow has to escape the pocket is probably coming from one of 2 things. Either just that the rush is coming from a place too quickly that, like, it doesn't matter who you are or what you can do, you're probably not getting out of it because his O-line's just really bad.
This is a great cigar.
Or it's just he is not getting things recognized mentally in about 2 or 3 tenths of a second faster than he needs to get started on that decision. That, to me, is what we see more often than not with Kirk. Is that just like he can make the right decision, but he takes an extra 3 to 5 tenths of a second to get to that decision or commit to that decision than a lot of your more top tier Mahomes, really instinctual. How the hell do they constantly make the play?
Mahomes rolling to his right. He throws it. He throws it out of bounds, though.
Yeah, that was just a nice safe burn. 3rd and 6. You're still looking all right. Ideally, you're looking at more of like a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, somewhere in there. But 3rd and 6 isn't too bad.
Kyle says in chat.
That's what I would say regarding like mobility with Kirk and Burrow. With Burrow, it's not a physical thing. It would just be recognizing it fast enough, and he's got a really bad O-line. So.
Kyle says in chat, just throwing it out there before it gets too late, I would cry if Jim left Michigan. I would not.
That's right. Kyle is a massive Michigan Wolverines fan, especially the football program.
Well, and it sounds like he's obviously also not one of the many who's frustrated with Jim. I feel like if you're frustrated with Jim Harbaugh as your head coach, you're an ungrateful little bitch. That's holding.
Hilton definitely getting away with a hold there if that wasn't flagged.
It wasn't, and that's whatever.
That is a hold, but it's also savvy. Like,
if you're frustrated with Jim Harbaugh as your head coach, like so many Michigan fans are, and like so many Niner fans were,
sure,
then you're an ungrateful brat.
I agree.
You're an ungrateful brat, and you need to have some fucking appreciation for somebody who can actually consistently make you better. Not just relevant, but better. Every year in Michigan, that team's gotten better and better and better. Yeah, they got spanked in whatever playoff game they were in, but doesn't matter.
Bengals forcing another punt.
Turn it into something. That's the key here.
Decent field position.
They fucked up the last drive. They got to get this one going. They need to bring this within 1 score before the third quarter ends.
Ideally, absolutely.
It has to be within 1 score.
I think
do not go into the fourth quarter against Mahomes down by more than 1 score.
And I would only personally bring that down 3 points. I'd go. It's got to be within 11 or less. I'll give it a field goal.
They are within 11
and then
or
a touchdown with. I think as long as it doesn't go to a full 14, I think the Bengals at least have a chance.
I don't think you can make that bet against Mahomes. I don't want. I'm not comfortable. In fact, I'm not comfortable going into fourth quarter against Mahomes without a lead.
I'm not saying the Bengals will pull that off. I'm just saying the Bengals will keep it close. And
you're predicting?
I'm just thinking we'll have like a 3 to 4 point ending like we have.
We should start since we actually have a bunch of people in chat. We should start a little fucking DraftKings little contest.
I have one going on for both games, and then I did 2 free ones. But we should
start one for this.
Oh yeah, sure.
It'll be a buck in. Hold on, let me see.
So it'll have to be just for the second game, though.
No, it'll be just for a quarter of this game.
Oh, okay.
Like we do one of those hot rounds. Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
Let me see. I'm gonna see something real quick here. Hold on. I got to go to the description of this video.
Do a fourth quarter hot round or flash round on this one?
There. Shit. Fuck. It's going to be... Actually, you know what? No, I'll just go through here, and then I'll comment it, and then I'll pin it. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So sports. Right? DraftKings. They just sent me an email today because they realized I wasn't gambling enough. They were upset. They were upset I wasn't gambling enough, so they sent me an email today, and they were like, "Hey, bitch, you got $13 in your account. What are you doing?"
Dude, I swear I've had them put money into my account from time to time just because it got low and I hadn't played in a while, and they're like, "Here's $5-10 or whatever. Get your ass back on."
That's how they got me back in when you guys were talking about it. When we started doing the sports casts a couple years ago, I think we were calling them football frenzies or whatever, which is a terrible name, but I couldn't think of anything else quicker on the spot. But it was basically a sports cast, but there wasn't a football game being played, which I should have just done that. We should have just rolled into the game. Long story short, you guys were talking about DraftKings for like the first 2-3 weeks. And whether it be the AI listening or whatever, DraftKings hit me up and they were like, you haven't played in a long time. Here's $20 free to reactivate your profile or whatever the fuck it was. And that's how they got me in, dude.
Yeah. Right. I should look at how long I've been on DraftKings. I feel like I've been on DraftKings pretty close to when it actually started. Like, at least 3, 4, 5 years. I know I have played well over 1,000 pay-to-play games. And I have never put in more than my initial $20 or $25 that I did to set up my account and get whatever the bonus was at that time. I'm still going off that original frickin' $25 or $20.
Yeah, I don't know if I've actually put any money in this year other than the original. I put in $18. At the beginning of the season because I wanted to play $1 each week. And trust me, my dude, I played way more than $1 per week. And I still have $13 in my account. So clearly I lost money.
Right.
But I won enough to where I never actually bottomed out my $18.
Well, I ironically enough, before the pandemic and stuff,
because I'm terrible at daily fantasy.
I got really low once or twice. And ended up building myself back up doing NASCAR. And like, I don't ever watch NASCAR at all. I don't follow NASCAR. I don't do NASCAR. But so like, I would just go in there and be like, well, it's a quarter to play, whatever.
Why do you hate white people?
No, it's not that I dislike it. It's just I just don't do it.
No, but why do you hate white people?
Because they suck. Anyway.
That's super racist, Scotty.
Scotty, you asked. It was racist.
That's not
for
cool
you to ask me that question.
That's not cool of you.
What was racist was for you to ask me that question.
It's okay you said it, but it's not cool you admitted it, bro.
I did it jokingly. I thought it was a joke.
Why do you think straight white men need to be burned at the stake?
Jesus Christ.
What do you have against cisgendered white men from the South? It's getting more and more specific.
For the record, I don't think these things. Oh, man.
Why do you hate white men from the South with blonde hair and blue eyes?
Well, let me count the ways. All right. Because Matthew McConaughey is just too good looking and charming. That's why.
Yeah. It's because I can't get laid, guys. That's where all your male feminists are coming from. They're just like, yeah, let's just weed out the fucking ones I can't compete with.
That's right. See, now you're getting it.
Dude, and honestly, here's the thing, dude, is like, I'm also a skinny white boy.
Jeez. Burrow looking like Pat Mahomes
yeah,
there.
Exactly. Looking like a stud. That's why I said, let's wait for the second half.
And that's what I meant from the question in the comments. That's what I meant from like a physical ability
difference. Give it up to
difference.
Jamar Chase, though, for keeping that play alive by keeping his head on a swivel.
That's what I meant from a physical ability difference between Burrow and Cousins. Burrow can make a play like that physically. Cousins cannot physically make a play like that.
Right, he can't shed that tackle.
Exactly. That's more the difference between the two of them in those situations. But not that Cousins is as bad as it gets either. I've seen way more cement-shoed quarterbacks than Kirk Cousins. Like, he's not the worst.
This is a fucking great cigar. Marco, I doubt you're watching this.
I'm very much enjoying it.
Marco, I doubt you're watching this, but this Palladium is my favorite cigar that you guys make. I don't know why Marco would waste his time watching this podcast, even though he's about to be on it. Him and his dad are coming on. I'm super excited for that podcast. That's probably going to be my second.
Oh, you got to call that. That looked like he was all over
there you
his
go.
back.
You got your flag, buddy.
Yeah, he was all over his back before the ball got there. You got to call that.
You have to. It's egregious. It's the playoffs, but it's egregious. See,
like
look how perfect, look how just brilliantly this is being burned. It's just such a nice flat burn. Is yours still going nice too?
Dude.
Yeah, you're doing a good job of smoking the cigar. See, now I don't have a problem giving you an expensive cigar. There's too many times I give people cigars, not on the podcast, because we just started bringing cigars to the podcast, but like in personal life, because I've been into this since October. I got back into it since October. I hand guys a nice cigar, dude, and they don't know how to smoke it. They're fucking hotboxing it. When they like put it out, they like stamp it out at the end and shit, and it's just like, ooh, nice catch by Joe Mixon.
What a great catch.
What a play.
And
we got to cue him up the replay on this one. You want to break this down, or should I?
Well, go ahead. You take it.
All right, here's your replay. Out of shotgun. Here's what's really interesting. Let's see. Okay, it's that little tiny delay there where he got blended into the offensive line. That's where, as a linebacker or as a DB, you take your eyes off him for just enough of a second, and then he's got that great catch there, that brilliant one-handed catch to actually turn it into something big. But the reason he got open in the first place is because he was smart enough to slow down, be patient, stay in that O-line, blend in just for a split second. Oh, and then the Chiefs followed up with the sack, but there's a flag on the play.
The only element to that play that I want to add that is easy to get overlooked with just the brilliance of that one-handed catch is how the arc that Burrow threw that pass with.
A dime. Here's your replay on the sack.
The arc of which that pass was thrown with.
Holding.
Big hold.
Holding. They'll take the sack, right?
The arc
You're
made
pretty
it
good
possible.
At this. You're pretty good at this. You take the sack, right?
Possible. I would
decline the penalty
take,
and take the sack. Loss of a down and a loss of yardage.
It depends on where you're at on the field. Honestly,
why do you give them back the down?
Honestly, to me, it would depend on where you're at on the field. In this situation, I would move them farther away from the end zone. I'd take the penalty because it's more yards.
But give them an extra down. I take the penalty.
Yep. I would take whatever gives me more yards, pushing them farther away from the end zone. However, in some situations, the loss of down might be more preferential, in addition to any loss of yards than, the
this
10
is
yards,
super weird.
but keeping the down.
The scene
nice
switcher,
deflection.
somehow we ended up over here, and now we're going back and forth. I don't remember setting this up.
I don't either. I don't remember it looking like that before, but I got no problem with that.
I mean, the camera angles are atrocious, but we can fix that later. You can see the stack of my drums in the background.
Nice.
The sheet because the light got left on.
What a beautiful silhouette.
And those aren't even my drums.
Another safe designed check down.
Let me know if you guys like the back and forth or if you guys would rather stay on the overhead cam. The viewers,
Cincinnati,
you guys put in the comments whether you guys would rather see it what we're doing right now or if you guys want to see it the other way.
Cincinnati appearing content on that third down to take a fairly high percentage easy field goal and narrow this to an 8-point one possession game as opposed to being a little more aggressive on trying to get that touchdown. And I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think that's probably the right call here. I think no matter what, you got to get at least 3 points in this situation. The difference between an 8-point deficit and a 4-point deficit really isn't that much. The difference between an 11-point deficit and an 8-point deficit is fairly significant. So, and again, just to throw it out there for anybody who was unaware, when I finished last season's draft prospect scouting, there was one kicker that I found accidentally while watching Kyle Trask film and Kadarius Toney film, the kicker for Florida, Evan McPherson. And I went, geez, of every kicker that I've caught kicking college footballs this year, this is the guy.
Yeah.
This is the guy. This guy can kick. He's a legit NFL kicker. I hope the Vikings get him. Bengals took him in round 5. Boom. He's got a bunch of game-winning kicks. He hasn't missed a kick in the postseason.
You know, the Vikings drafted a great kicker in the 5th round a few years ago.
Yeah, they did. What was his name?
Dan Carlson.
Danny something, yeah. Oh, Danny boy.
You know, a few years before that, they drafted another kicker in the 7th round. His name was Blair Finkel. Blair fucking Finkel, man. Goddamn tragedy.
You know, it's possible. I do semi-believe that if the Vikings higher-ups simply weren't too damn stubborn to let Ryan Longwell volunteer to come in for 2 to 3 days and help out as a kicking specialist, that, you know, we'd have gone through as many consistent
and that had to be Prefer
as possible.
That had to be Prefer. Who do you think?
He's never called the person out by name, but he has definitely implied that there's, you know, like probably a specific.
We talked about this on the podcast. Who do you think it was? Who do you think said no?
Well, given its special teams area, you would definitely think that, and the time that it would lead towards Prefer. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Prefer, but all right. Well, we're rocking and rolling, man. We got a handful of people watching between the two platforms. People drop in and out. I get it. I get it, guys. I get it. You got better things to do with your lives, but I appreciate you dropping in for a few minutes at least. Drop a comment, drop a like, share the stream if you guys are hanging out. Bring some other people in. Let's party, man. This one technically is gonna die at the end of this game, but then we're just immediately opening up the second game, which is gonna still be right on the same channel. Pretty much everything's up there. I think it's even scheduled on the YouTube page, so you might even be able to set a reminder for it. So feel free to run out to the liquor store.
That's right. Yeah, we'll be here all Championship Sunday. I'm very much enjoying my Championship Sunday.
Me too, man. Honestly, I wish we would have done this last weekend. But now we know, because honestly, I've been telling people this for a long time. So by the way, this is lining up to both what we said. This is technically a 1-score game.
Yep.
Within 11.
Yep.
Within 11, like you said.
Yep.
I still don't like it. I still don't think you're gonna actually do anything in the fourth quarter. But I've been telling people as I've been slowly doing these things, and I've even been mulling up, is it the fan in the stands? Because we're sitting here basically, you know, armchair quarterbacking this thing from home.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it the Sportscast Extravaganza? This whole season, this whole thing's a beta test.
Right.
Trying to get it figured out so I can sit on it for a couple months before the draft and that's why I think I'm going to call it Sportscast Extravaganza, because it doesn't limit me to any format.
Sure.
But yeah, this is all a big ass beta test, but these are definitely better with another person here in studio. Tried to do a couple of these remote with Patrick from 93X. Interception, Cincinnati. Holy balls. Now, even just a field goal here completely changes the scope of this.
Absolutely.
But they're scoring a touchdown.
God dang it.
Now, okay, hold on. Okay, here's your replay.
I sat on a comment and I missed the window. Son of a bitch, I could have Tony Romo'd that shit. Damn it.
Oh, you decided not to say anything?
Well, the comment I was sitting on saying was, because you were, you know, talking about the 8-point and the 1 possession and stuff, and I'm like, it is going to be on the Bengals defense to keep this, you know, to keep the opportunities for the Bengals offense. Like, that's what makes it all possible. The only way that we get the close game and stuff is that's on the Bengals defense. Because otherwise, if the Chiefs offense is allowed to go just match.
All right, let me jump this before this goes. Now, old school football, you play action and you take a pass to the end zone right now. You take a shot on the immediate play resulting after a turnover. You do this because the defense is unprepared to be on the field right now. Instead, they ran the football on a draw up the middle.
It was successful.
Relatively,
it was.
But old school 90s football, and this is one of those things where 90s football in many ways is like outdated. But in many ways, football is nothing more than cyclical. because a lot of these themes that you see like die after 20 years and then show up again 10, 15 years later. So it's like a 30, 40 year curve that things happen on. So you're watching concepts from the 90s show back up.
But that's a really big, even though like game time wise, it takes up a really small portion of the game.
Complete though, Jamar Chase actually down to the 5, maybe that's the 5.
It's actually a really big part of the game, even though it only consumes 30, 60 seconds of game
nice
clock.
In route right here. Just found that little spot.
And
just popped up right into the zone.
Timing route.
Just absolutely beautiful.
Burrow able to get
found the separation.
Look. Burrow getting a good look at the defense pre-snap, being in the shotgun. Nice, quick timing route. That's just easy. That's easy stuff.
I wish we could give you longer replays. I bet if we got enough subscribers, eventually someday I could get approved by the NFL to do this.
For my personal taste, when in the Bengals situation after that turnover, starting that, like you were talking about, my two personal preferences are either play action deep or West Coast quick slant something where just, one step drop in the hand, out of our hands, in the step.
If you've got a
trying
Tyreek
to capitalize on that energy.
If you've got a Tyreek Hill, if you've got a Randy Moss, if you've got a guy who can take that quick slant and break it through. But traditional says you want to try to get them towards the end zone to
anything that has the potential for a big play.
You strike
anything that has the potential for a big play.
The theory is this. The theory is very simple.
Agreed.
The defense did not finish their preparation to get back on the field. Okay? They only had a couple plays. You have the ball just outside of the red zone.
Schematically or physically from a rest
or
and
mentally.
freshness.
Guy's a little late. He just set his helmet down. He was still taking a drink of Gatorade. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You take the shot to the end zone.
3rd and goal.
Because not only of all the shit we just mentioned, but they're literally physically coming on the field with their and it's a touchdown. Jamar Chase.
From Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase. There we go, baby. All right, so I'm here's the deal. I'm cheering for.
You got to go for 2 here, right? I mean, you have to just try to tie it up.
No. So everyone's going to say Jared just became an idiot. Here's the thing. No, you do not need this point right now.
Okay, I agree. I 100% agree with that.
This is the way you really do this.
100% agree with that.
Fuck the analytics. This is the way you really do this. You do not actually need this point right now. So you take the guaranteed points. You take the points.
Given the unique momentum wave going on right here, I'm trying to ride it for the extra point and tie it up.
I get it.
But you are 100% right.
You mean the 2 point to tie it up.
Yes. But I do
and they're completely concur with you. And they're going to get it.
That to say need is completely wrong and inaccurate. I do completely concede that.
Yep. You had a whole nother quarter. I don't like chasing points. I don't like doing this. I don't like any of this.
On the road, you've been trailing the whole time. You just had a momentum swing in your favor, and you've got a chance now to ride that wave and get it turned in your favor and wear the shoes on the other foot for the fourth quarter. I think you go for that, and that's what they did.
And I agree. You're the underdog. You're the underdog. You got nothing to lose. Like, I get that. Maybe if that was Kansas City in this game, I go for the 1. Like, we're the home team. The momentum is there. And the speed, here's what I'll give them credit for. The speed of which they went for 2.
Yes, exactly.
That's a big difference. Mm-hmm. They were prepared to go for 2 before they scored the touchdown.
Yep.
Like, they called on that. Here's what it felt like to me. When they called the play to score the touchdown, they already had the 2 point called as well. And they basically ran a hurry up. This is not smart. This is not a good way to succeed long term in the NFL, but this is the playoffs, right? This is where you do the weird onside kick coming out of halftime before they change the rules, right? No, so I'm with you, brother. I'm with you, man. I think you might be right. I think you're right. In this situation, it proved to be right.
And I think,
but I feel what you're saying as well.
I think if this situation happens 3 to 5 minutes later in the game than it did, where we're like 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, then you see the Chiefs call a timeout before that 2 point conversion is attempted to gather themselves and get their plan going.
Yep.
Yep. So the fact that squeaked in right before the end of the third quarter and not a couple minutes into the fourth quarter, I think is also a really big
I think you're hitting some
factor.
I think you're going hard in the paint right now, dude.
So
yeah, and I think the only reason they call the 2-point and the only reason it works is because they were unified and they had decided to do that before they scored the touchdown.
Yeah. Yep. That was probably the plan the second the drive started after the turnover. Was like, we're going for the tie if we get the touchdown.
Yep. Because they did a bunch of shit that is anti-classic NFL, right? And if you think about it, when you're going up against Andy Reid, who is Brett Favre's quarterback coach in the early 90s, you have to go antithetical to something Andy Reid actually expects and understands, right?
Is Pat Mahomes just like the lab-created evolution of Brett Favre with all of the unorthodox gunslinging, take the risk, throw off your wrong foot? Like from
Mahomes is
from
absolutely
Andy Reid
a gunslinger.
Of just the like,
Andy
are they just
Reid
both
is a
Andy Reid
gunslinger.
disciples?
I mean,
like,
dude, it's scary if you think about what Andy Reid has accomplished with quarterbacks. Brett Favre, Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick, Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes. Every single one of them had their best years while he was involved with their career.
that's incredible.
And he comes from the Bill Walsh coaching tree. Like he doesn't even get his own coaching tree.
Yep. Still pretty much the blueprint for the modern quarterback. What did Joe Montana do under Bill Walsh in the 49ers dynasty of the 80s?
It's insane. You know, Dennis Green came from that.
If you can find ways to add to that with athleticism,
Technically,
or whatever,
Shanahan came from that. I don't know if you know that, but Shanahan technically came from technically. Even though Shanahan has officially developed his own coaching tree. And you know the only reason Belichick doesn't get a coaching tree, like credit for one, is because nobody who's come from his coaching trees actually had any success.
Exactly.
That's the only difference.
That's hilarious.
Because there's a lot of jobs.
That's true, though.
There's a lot of jobs as late as Joe Judge. Joe Judge got a head coaching job for the New York Giants based on being a fucking recent addition.
Man,
it's hilarious.
That is freaking hilarious. But you're 100% right. It really is just the success rate, you know, of the people who follow, who determine whether or not it's a tree. But yeah, the one thing or the one person that you can say, you know, is maybe developing a Belichick tree right now for me is Mike Vrabel. Like, he is one of the most underappreciated head coaches in the league for me right now. Like, just because Tennessee lost in the first round.
Isn't LaFleur the only one who's gotten a head coaching job and done well out of Vrabel's tree?
Oh, no. Not like, I mean Vrabel being of Belichick's tree.
I see what you're saying.
You know.
But he was just a player. Was he ever on the Patriots staff?
See, for me, that's kind of the question there, and that's why nobody ever mentions his name and stuff. It's because, like, yeah, I don't know if he was a staff guy or not. I feel like he was a positions coach.
Jack could fact check.
I feel like Vrabel was a positions coach of the linebackers for at least a year or two in New England under Belichick before he started going elsewhere. He might have even been defensive coordinator, even though Belichick, I think, calls all of that.
Frankie's calling me out. He said Andy Reid would never go for one. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. I can't argue with you on that. Mike Vick's best years were with Andy Reid. I would definitely say that what Mike Vick did in Philadelphia was hands down his best year as a passer.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. Sure. Definitely.
For sure. Coming out of prison.
I think
you know what I mean? Like
I think if you look at the throwing, the passing statistics, you're probably right on that.
And that's what I always think about when I'm talking about a quarterback. I'm never talking about this shit.
But yeah, but like if the commenter, if you are thinking of it more as a, you know, well, this player is also a runner, and so we need to incorporate that in the stuff. Like that's a fair
but
place
that just
to look
degrades
at it
with
too.
age, and that's why I don't evaluate that as a quarterback, because you're naturally going to be less agile, you're going to be less quick, you're going to be less fast as you get older. So
what influence or impact did the coach have on any of that? None. True. That was just the individual athlete's physical talents. That had nothing to do with coaching. Right. So whereas your comment is like, well, the passing stuff is he's making better decisions with the ball and he's more accurate and,
or maybe it's even just the plays that are being called are more leaning towards, know what I mean?
Freaking Bengals forced another punt.
Told you. I said, let's wait for the second half. Let's see what adjustments happen.
Are the Cincinnati Bengals about to pull off this come from behind upset? Not just an upset, but a come from behind. A late from behind.
So I've officially decided. I told you at the beginning of the game I was torn. I'm doing my little dance. I told you I was torn, right? Ooh,
yes, you did.
I was torn. Yep. So I'm officially cheering for the Bengals.
You were Natalie Imbruglia.
For the Bengals to make it to the Super Bowl, but I need them to lose in order for me to stay consistent on my principles.
Of course, yep. I get it. I totally get it.
I can't cheer for the Bengals to win their first Super Bowl before the Vikings do. But I do want to see him win this game because I'm a huge Joe Burrow fan, and that looked like it was incomplete or out of bounds. They're giving it to him. Interception, Chiefs.
This will go to replay. Fuck. That is huge. That is huge.
I don't think this is going to stand. Here's your replay, guys. Here's your replay, guys.
I think he was in bounds, but I don't know if he had possession or control of the ball.
Nope, he got it.
Like, it appeared to me that he was in bounds.
Interception, clean.
The whole thing to me is... Can I get a view on the ball because of the stupid wording of the rule that you have to maintain control of the ball throughout the entire process, and the process doesn't end until your ass basically gets up off the ground and hands the ball to the fucking ref like it's some sort of
It seems like they've corrected that a little
bit.
Like, ugh. Yeah, look at your cigar, dude. Look how even that burn is.
I know.
Dude, these are great cigars, dude. Shout out to Marco V.
Like, just really easy. A really nice conversation accessory. Like they smoke really nice with conversation.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy is people are like, oh, you quit smoking cigarettes, but you just switched to cigars, and there's way more nicotine in cigars. Then tell me why I don't crave the need to smoke a cigar the moment I wake up. Tell me why I can go an entire day or two without smoking a cigar.
Yep.
Like, come on, fuck off. I'm telling you, I don't give a shit how you measure nicotine. I don't care what your lab results show. I'm telling you, when I was a cigarette smoker, I couldn't go an hour without smoking cigarettes. It was horrid.
Well,
I was a prisoner.
It's pretty
with smoking cigars. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of nicotine, but it's not when you don't inhale it. I'm telling you, it's different.
It's pretty small-minded to think that a cigarette is just nicotine. It's pretty small-minded to think that a cigar is just nicotine. They're both multiple things. And so, like, yeah, with a cigar, you get more nicotine than compared to the cigarette. But with the cigarette, you get more freaking additive shit.
I'm telling you, when you don't inhale it, you don't consume as much nicotine.
And the method of consumption is also a factor. I'm saying, absolutely.
There's no way. I don't care if there's more nicotine in a cigar. You could tell me there's as much nicotine in a cigar as an entire pack of cigarettes. Well, right. I don't inhale an entire cigar.
Yep.
You technically you shouldn't inhale any of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm not convinced. The way we inhale, the way you puff a cigar, I'm not convinced it's the same as like chewing tobacco either. You see what I'm saying? Like that shit that just sits in there and just seeps into your fucking tissue. It's not the same, dude. I don't want to hear it.
Yep, that interception stands.
Yeah, that was a clean interception.
Huge double swing of momentum there. Not surprising that the Chiefs come out first play a little bit humble, I shouldn't say humble, but just a little bit.
You mean the Bengals?
Safe.
Oh no,
no, just a little bit safe. Like let's just try to get a shot. Let's just get a nice 4 yards. We're coming off a turnover of our own. Let's just try to build something nice and methodical and slow, and not not give the Bengals the ball back too soon, especially with the field position.
I'm taking a shot there. You got Kelsey, you got
See,
Hill.
I like the 4 yards on first down. That's the big miss. That's got to be another 4 yards or a first down on that 2nd and 6. That's how you go, okay, nope, now we're clicking. You're on your heels. We're in control. Still our game.
See, I can't tell you you're wrong, but I would have done it the opposite way. I would have taken a shot on first, been okay with the incompletion. Then I would have run the ball for 4 or 5 yards.
Sure.
Still ended up at a 3rd and 6. In this
Fair
scenario.
approach too. And if one approach worked every time, that would be the only approach that was ever used.
Right,
So.
and that would make football
Yeah.
super boring.
Yep. Yes, it would. Oh, that's a penalty. Holy cow, that left tackle freaking
And there's no
put
holding.
his entire
There's
armor
no
on the dude's
holding.
throat.
There's no holding on that call.
The refs just went, yeah, it's 3rd down and he's getting the sack, so I'm
Here's
just going to
your
hang
replay.
on to the flag. Watch your left tackle. Jeez. And a block in the back to get him the sack, too. Like, yeah, no, that's a case of where the refs just went, whether I throw the flag or not, the other team's coach is going to decline it and take the result of the play. So I'm just going to save everybody the unnecessary 30 to 60 seconds and keep the flag in my pocket.
Mm-hmm. I got to take a leak over here.
But if you're trying to evaluate a college football player on whether or not they can play in the NFL, that's a good thing to note that while he didn't get called for a hold on that, like, yeah, dude got a minus on that play. He messed up bad, and that should have went on his record, even though it didn't. But in a situation like this, again, it's irrelevant, so the ref hangs onto the flag, and that's fine. But I'm really happy to see Lil Prince back. Like, I miss Lil Prince. Speaking of bots, if anybody else is at all into the sports card world, bots are kind of a bummer, man. They get all the cards I want in the first 3 to 5 minutes, and then I got to pick from crap. But that's just with the online orders. Target if you're a Red Card member at Target Online for Red Card members has phenomenal pricing for their sports cards. That said, the availability of them can be extremely scarce, at least when it comes to the good ones. Walmart, on the other hand, they've got great availability online, but their prices are insane. A lot of them are equal to or worse than your hobby card stores.
The hell are we talking about?
Just in case anybody out there watching the football is into sports cards and the current resurgence in the market.
Oh, you mean just any cards?
Yeah. Yep.
Fucking
yeah,
Pokemon cards?
I mean, just in general. Yes. Yep. Exactly.
Magic cards?
Yep. Yeah. A lot of people
Jesus
into that
Christ.
shit.
Fucking nerds!
Nerd alert.
Dude, I have so many vintage cards. So many vintage cards.
Now is the time, if they are graded and graded well, it's like there's never been a better time to get good money for your cards.
Oh, fuck. I should sell a bunch of them.
But if they're not graded by Beckett Card Grading or PSA, like, you're not going to get very much. But if they are, and they're graded good, you're going to get freaking top return.
I want to keep
now
them,
is the time for you.
I want to keep them to a point where they're so rare, it doesn't even matter how good of a condition they are. Just the fact that they exist. Like, that's when I want to trade them in.
And that's what you'll find online right now with ungraded cards. If you've got like a lot of the newer ones that are individually numbered, like this is number 3 out of 10, like there are only 10 of this card in the world. Those ones you don't so much need graded. You can kind of, just take your pictures, sell them online, get real good money for them.
Dude, I have cards that
but just being old
were painted.
Isn't enough.
I have cards where the pictures of the players were painted. That's like early 60s.
Sure. Dang.
Yeah. Because color photography wasn't affordable. Yeah, so they took a black and white photo and then painted the color.
Dude, if you've got any of those that have sharp corners.
No, none of them do.
Okay. Yep. Then we save our money and we don't grade and we deal them raw. Bengals again with the ball,
damn it,
still tied at 21-21. Burrow rolling out right, throws a dangerous pass towards the sideline, right to the defender.
That was damn near intercepted.
There was no receiver anywhere near.
Burrow got a little cocky with this throw. Here's your replay.
He's lucky that ball squeaked through his arms and went to the ground, or that could have been ruled an interception.
I don't think
because the knee was clearly.
I don't think he was throwing to that wide receiver. I think he was
trying
to
throw out of bounds. Yeah, he was just trying to throw it away.
I think he was trying to throw it away.
Yep.
And just didn't
100%.
think that linebacker would actually make that move.
I completely
God damn it,
agree.
I got the hiccups.
So
you're going to have to do more talking.
All right. 3rd and 7. Pressure at Burrow. Somehow escapes again. Rolling to his left. Hops out of it. Extends
and
the
gets
ball
the first
just
down.
past the first down while running out of bounds to the left. Oh, man. This is turning from a relatively unimpressive Joe Burrow performance to a potentially legacy-building Joe Burrow performance in the second half, and is ending in the way that, Roger Goodell and everyone at the NFL would want. Close game, both quarterbacks, freaking... What a game we've all of a sudden got here on our hands. And if we learned anything from the Bills Chiefs game last week, we could see like 100 points in these last 10, 11 minutes of fourth quarter.
I'm trying to trick myself that I got scared so I can give up these hiccups.
We might see more points in the last 10 minutes than we saw in the first 50 with these two offenses. Like, it's possible.
That'd be a great way to end this game.
It would be. It really would be. Just a 12-minute frickin' back and forth shootout.
I love great defense, but I want to see great defense against great offense. What the hell?
That was bizarre.
Hey, finally, for once, it's not me who has graphic issues.
Right?
CBS themselves had graphic issues. We're officially in the same league.
Yes.
Woo!
Yes. We are peers.
Yeah, you guys are going to see a weird flash here. Yeah, they're seeing it, but it doesn't make sense to them. Yeah, I'm watching it. It's on a delay on my phone just so I can monitor what's going on. That's hilarious. Their graphic that's usually at the bottom where you guys see the field when it's not working right. Their graphic jumped all over the screen. Like it went completely schizophrenic, like it was transitioning fucking timelines. Like in a different timeline, they put the graphic at the top of the screen. And then in a weird timeline, they put the graphic in the middle of the screen.
See, and in the second half, Joe Burrow has combined that athleticism with when to decide, when to make that decision.
But this is what worries me, though, dude.
The first half, he was 0.2 of a second slower to recognize what was going on, get into a new situation, and make something out of nothing. Oh, that's a flag. Holy cow.
They missed the flag.
Wow.
All right, now here's what scares me, though. This is a big guy, okay? This is a strong man. This is a huge human being. It takes a lot of energy to run that engine. See how he's gasping? He's tired. He's tired. And this is why I don't like these guys that run around too much. Because when it comes to being late in the game like this, when they're exhausted because they've been running around too much, they don't have the fuel in the tank, and they get tired and they underthrow footballs in critical moments.
Yep, I was just going to say
this is what I want to see. If he overcomes that, he immediately goes from the normal mold that I'm talking about, and he moves into the Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes mold.
Yep. And I believe that he is of that mold. I really do. Whether he has arrived at that mold yet or not, we're still seeing play out.
I'm excited. Let's see. I'm super excited.
Oh, God, what a great game this ended up being.
This is a great game, dude. This is a great game. This is great. And we got pizza rolls coming soon. It was great. And these are great cigars.
Yeah.
Great cigars.
Phenomenal cigars.
I am actually enjoying this cigar more than I enjoyed my first cigar, which my first cigar was technically a more expensive cigar. That was a $10 cigar. These are locally, they're $8 cigars. If you go direct to their website, you can get a box of 25 for $125. So they're $5 a pop. Very good deal. $5 a pop if you buy them directly through their website. Yeah, that looked like some offside.
I think they're going to get the Chiefs for offsides on that.
And there actually is a link in the bottom of this because technically I loaded default description. So you guys can go to their website through here, but I don't have a discount code for you.
Boy.
Okay, so we got
such an energy shift.
We got a bunch of comments. Sorry, guys.
There's been such an energy shift in this game. Oh, my gosh.
Stupor Dave jumps in and says, KC offense looking discombobulated the last few drives. I agree 100%, Dave. They seem like they're out of their element. Seems like Cincy's figured some shit out. Kyle jumps in and says, it would be awesome to see the same thing that happened in the Rose Bowl this year between the two teams, like 52 points scored in under 3 minutes.
That is possible with these two offenses. It really is.
Nice slant.
And I definitely don't disagree with the first comment.
There you go, buddy.
I definitely don't disagree with the first comment, but I do feel that part of that, at least, is a result of the Bengals defense doing a better job on their end of doing their job.
Correct.
You know, it's not just the Chiefs forgetting how to do theirs. You know, so props to the Bengals defense where it's due to.
I agree 100%.
Still 1st and 10. They are in Evan McPherson field goal range. A lot of time left in the fourth quarter, though, as far as fourth quarters go. Just over 7.5. And that's going to be a false start on the right guard there. He twitched, got going just a tiny bit early.
What is that dog barking at? What are you barking at, P? My dog is losing her goddamn mind.
You don't know that there's a lot of possessions left. You know that there might be multiple possessions left. But realistically, 7.5 can go to the 2-minute warning real freaking quick, too.
Yeah, I doubt that's what they're running. And I think that's what Romo's keying in on here is he sees the pace that these offenses are running
and feeling like they should be sped up just a little bit, I think.
Well, I think is what he's saying is like each team is geared up to have one possession, maybe two. And we've seen this happen in both of these teams' previous games with Cincinnati and with Kansas City.
But then they score so fast
that's how
each team ends up with 4
each.
possessions or something like we get last week.
Yep. And I think that's what he's reading here. If I'm Cincinnati, I'm trying to slow this game down.
See, and for me,
I want to grind this clock out.
That's always my initial thought. Always. Like, that's how I'm wired. That's always my initial thought. This particular game and situation for me, I think I'm actually in a different one. I'm looking at this.
Because you trust your defense?
No. If I'm the Bengals, the underdog, we're on the road, it's tied 21-21, we're going up against Super Bowl champion quarterbacks and coaches and everything. 7:32 in the game, it's tied, we got the ball in their scoring range. I'm looking at this like a basketball situation where there's 34 seconds left on the clock in the quarter. I want a 2-for-1. We got 2 possessions, you get 1 possession. I'm going to score on both, you're going to score on 1. That's how I'm trying to play this out if I'm doing the Bengals here. Otherwise, but like I said, most of the time, I'm of your school of thought. Like, no, let's be methodical about this. Let's not just get us, but also take away from them too. You know?
Yeah, and you could have the theory like, okay, we need to score fast because we want to give them 6 minutes so they're not worried about the clock to give us that second possession, right?
Yep.
There's a lot of this is why I love football. It's chess with 53 people.
100%.
Well, man. Shit, with
I could not
70
agree more.
people if you bring in the coaches.
I could not agree more.
There's so many different ways to go about this. Did the clock stop?
Odd play call on third and 8.
Because he didn't get forward momentum. The clock doesn't even stop.
Odd play call on 3rd and 8.
That's a terrible play call.
Great form tackling
unless
there.
you trust your defense that much, because they're sending out the punting unit, no question.
Like, this isn't even an easy... boy, Jesus Christ.
No, they're not. They're going for the field goal.
42. Boy, here's a chance for my boy to either...
What's that, a 57-yard field goal?
Here's my boy's opportunity. He's going to make me look like an idiot. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. 53? Technically, it's 17 from where the ball is snapped. It's 17 from where the ball is snapped.
So 59?
52.
Oh, they said 52.
He got that fucker.
He got it.
Yeah, what do I know about scouting kickers?
You don't know shit, Scotty.
Shit.
You got lucky. You picked one out of the ether. You got lucky.
Yep, I did. That's exactly what happened. I picked one out of the ether and got lucky. That is 100%.
There's no way to scout kickers. That's why it's never been done. Oh, he kicks it far. Draft him.
Yes, there is. You can just tell, okay? Like, when you watch a college kicker kick, they look differently than when you watch an NFL kicker kick. They just, everything about the way they carry themselves through the process, like the motions of their body, their posture, their form, they look fucking different.
I'm telling you right now, if I have kids that want to play football, I'm trying to convince them to be kickers.
Oh, hell yeah.
Dude, you'll play till you're 50.
Are you kidding me? In a heartbeat.
You'll start when you're 18 to 24, and you'll play till you're 50. And you'll make, if you're solid and you play the entire time, you'll make a minimum of $2 to $3 million a year the entire time.
Yep.
For kicking shit.
Yeah, for 20 years. Shit. Yeah. For kicking shit a couple times a day. One day a week. Like. Oh, no, 100%.
You never need to worry about benching.
Well, and that's kind of the thing that baffles me about why, like, it just seems like there's always a kicker shortage. Like, there's always 5, 10, 15, 20 teams that just like, yeah, your kicker's okay, or your kicker sucks. Like, there's only 5, 10 kickers ever where it's like, yeah, your kicker's good. Like, yeah, your kicker's Justin Tucker. He's
all
good.
right, well, let's get into this real quick. Okay, so we're wrapping up this first game. Okay. Bengals are up by 3. Make your prediction now.
Where exactly are we at?
Bengals are up by 3.
Yes. What is the exact time on the game?
I think it was 6:04.
And what down is it with the ball where?
They're about to get the ball on the kickoff.
Okay. Exactly. I'm just saying, like, all of these, I'm just bringing these up because to me they're all factors, not just, they're up by 3.
Burger King looks real good right now.
Chiefs definitely have time
Stephen
for
Colbert.
1 or 2 possessions. Bengals will definitely get 1 possession after whatever the Chiefs do here on this possession. Given recent trends in this game and recent history in recent games, I'm going to say that the Chiefs come down and score either a field goal or a touchdown. Bengals go down and answer with either a field goal or a touchdown, and then the Chiefs come back and answer again as time runs out with either a field goal or a touchdown. Whether or not that results in overtime or the Chiefs win, I'm not sure. I'm going to go Chiefs win, scoring twice yet. Bengals score 1 more time, Chiefs score both times. Chiefs ultimately win.
Okay.
Maybe it goes to overtime.
That was extremely elaborate.
Sorry.
I'm gonna also say Chiefs win, but I'm gonna be rooting for the Bengals. I'm a Bengals fan. I have been for 25 years. Wait. Yeah, about 25 years, because I was about 12-ish when I made this decision to become a Bengals fan. And for anybody who new is dropping in, I'm not a bandwagon jumper. I picked this team a long time ago. I've talked about them on the podcast because I picked the equivalent of the Vikings at the time, but I made sure that they were in the AFC, and that was the Bengals. Took 25 years for this thing to pay off. But that's why I picked them, because my idea was like opposite end of the spectrum, right?
Yep. The strategy that you proposed for the Bengals just a moment or two ago, This is now exactly when I would implore that strategy. Is I would implore it as the Chiefs in this situation.
Drag the clock out.
I want a methodical.
Don't give the ball back.
I want a methodical 5.5 minute drive where worst case scenario
that's not a first
we tie
down.
the game up
He's
with a field goal.
half-yard short. Kelsey's a half-yard short.
So we've got 3rd and inches. That's perfect.
This better be. We'll see where they call it. Nope, they're giving them the first. I don't know that I would challenge this. You're down a timeout already.
You can't risk losing the timeout.
Not on 3rd and inches.
Even if you're right, you can't risk losing the timeout.
In fact, I want them. I actually want them to go score the ball. I want the ball back.
Yep. 1st and 10 is better than 3rd and inches. Gives them 40 more seconds to run off the clock.
Yep.
So
you're correct. Yep. Looks like Patrick Mahomes might have lost a little bit off his throat. I'm just going to say that right now. Like, it looks like his shoulder has been injured. He's not throwing the ball the same way. It's
you seeing a zip difference?
Yeah, what he's doing is he's pushing the ball off of his shoulder instead of throwing it.
That would explain a lot of the wobblers we've seen too that weren't spiraling because he's shot putting it. He's shot putting it.
Watch this on his next throw. He's pushing the football. Even when he gets a spiral, he's just flicking his fingers. So he's still getting a spiral.
Not the wrist, though. It might be a wrist injury, too.
No, it's a shoulder thing because he's pushing the football.
Okay, so it's all coming from the elbow down, basically.
He's pushing the football. He's like doing this.
Okay. Right.
Throwing.
Right.
And
Well,
though, he's still snapping his fingers at the end to get a spiral on it. But
I don't know. To me, that still suggests more wrist than shoulder because, like, it resembles a shot put motion to me, and that's very much shoulder based of a throw.
You might be right, but watch this. See if I'm crazy.
Or maybe it's elbow. Maybe it's in the elbow. Maybe it's in between, and that's why
the elbow
I can't
would be hurt either
it.
way. The elbow would be hurt either way. What I'm seeing,
rib possibly.
No, I'm seeing. Well, maybe,
ribs possibly.
Maybe if you can. No. I mean, everything I said's wrong. Everything I said is completely felonious. No.
Just because with quarterbacks, when it comes to change in motion, I always wonder about ribs.
I would play this replay, but they're not showing Mahomes, and that's what we're talking about. No, he's fine. I just watched him. Here it is. Here's your replay. Watch Mahomes.
1, 2, 3, boom.
He's fine. He's totally fine. That was the play.
That's such a quick, easy play.
That's the play he's been making. Is he's been doing a push of the ball instead of throwing it.
Again, just simple pre-snap identification of zone coverage.
Yeah,
and then quickly hitting the hole in it. Like really easy, basic. They train for this.
Stop
shit
the clock.
100
this was
times
a
a
dumb
day, every
decision.
day.
This was a dumb decision by who was that? Mecole Hardman.
Agreed. Casey couldn't have been doing this any better up until that stop in the clock. That was the first little hiccup they've had in this entire possession.
Or this was just an amazing play to push. Push your play to push your you're tackling somebody.
Maybe a great job by the defender
going forward.
Yep, maybe just a great play by the defender.
I don't think everybody understands this. You have to get forward momentum going out of bounds to stop the clock.
And he's in bounds yet. Yep. Boy, that'll bring us to the 2-minute warning.
Do you think everybody understands that?
Ouch.
You have to have forward momentum going out of bounds to stop the clock.
Yes.
If you're being pushed backwards or laterally as you go out of bounds, the clock does not stop.
Correct. I think the way you just explained it, that is very easy for everyone to understand.
But I don't think most people know that.
Exactly. I was just going to say, I don't think that a lot of people or casual fans.
So my question when that clock got stopped earlier was that the dumb player by the offensive player, or was that the defense pushing him out of bounds from behind?
I'm guessing that was the defender just securing up what qualifies as a legal tackle in bounds before the
play
got
before
out.
When the clock got stopped.
Okay.
Was it a smart play by Cincinnati to push him out of bounds going forward, or was it a bad play by Kansas City to go out of bounds going forward?
It's hard to say without looking at the replay again. Like to pull like your typical post game line, like I'd really have to look at the film again.
That's what I'm asking, right? And we didn't have the chance to slow that down because it wasn't a highlight.
But great to be aware of all possible explanations and not just hone in on the one and accept that as the truth. And move on.
Thanks, Scotty.
So, yeah, man.
Thanks for the compliment, buddy.
Yeah, man. I love it, dude.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us guys in chat. We got a bunch of people in here. We got between YouTube and Twitch, we got a grip of people in here, actually. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it.
I think the game getting good helps, too.
I think it does, too. Actually, you know what? Actually, I disagree. Because it's you, right? If it was somebody else, maybe. But the only thing the game being good does, the only thing the game being good does is it focuses our conversation to the game.
Sure.
If the game is boring, and this is also why I love the idea of you being here for this, is because if the game becomes boring, we can parlay, stay with football, talk about anything else. We could go from football to religion if we wanted to. We could go from football to mushrooms. We could go from football to music. We could go from football to whatever.
Okay, so speaking of mushrooms, speaking of mushrooms, did you happen to see photos of the performance by Katy Perry on SNL last night with Willem Dafoe, where like all of her background dancers were in mushroom costumes?
No, but I saw a picture, and apparently she has long hair again.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm super into her again.
Right.
I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna be the first guy.
I love the honesty.
I'm gonna be the first guy who's brave enough to say this. Honesty. I'm gonna be the first guy who's brave enough to say this in public. Listen. I don't care how pretty you are. If you're a girl and you cut your hair super short, it just immediately makes you look like a lesbian. And that is not a bad thing. But is what I'm saying is my subconscious knows that, because even as a married man, here's what I'm saying. As a subconscious thing that happens, as soon as I go, oh, that's a lesbian, I go, she's not into me, and I lose my attraction to her.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? So, like, you could still be the most beautiful woman in the world, but now that you have short hair, I think, oh, she's a lesbian.
1st and 10.
So
15.
she's not into my kind, is what I'm getting at,
Mahomes rolls
right?
out left, dives forward, out of bounds. That should stop the clock. I don't like the stopping of the clock there. And I don't think the extra 2 to 3 yards that he got out of that negates the negative of the stopping of the clock. I would have much rather had the clock keep running. Don't worry about those 2-3 yards.
Unless they're seeing something that they're worried about in the case, the Cincinnati defense. Unless they're going, dude, listen, it's going to take every play we can get.
Sure.
And this is what we don't know, right? Like, this is what I love about this show.
If the Bengals defense holds the Chiefs to a field goal, if I'm the Chiefs...
Oh, my God. This is Mahomes being Mahomes. You fucking motherfucker. Stop! Dude!
Jesus!
Oh, my God! Stop! Tackle him!
You poor offensive lineman. And that one stayed in... What? Oh, snap. He must have got a foot out of bounds, because I thought I saw the elbow and the ball land in.
So, yeah, I'm back into Katy Perry with long hair. Here's your replay. What is he doing?
B button, right trigger, B button, left bumper, speed burst, stiff arm, dive. He's just a freaking living incarnation of a video game.
But the video games aren't keeping up with him.
No.
Because you can't
throw computers don't have that kind of process time.
Because you can't throw on the run the way Mahomes can in a video game. Oh, shit! What a beautiful little pooch pass.
That was a great play. Oh, man.
That was a pooch pass.
Converts, gets the first down, which means they've got the full minute and 28 remaining.
Yep.
Chiefs have executed this situation perfectly.
Cincinnati's being smart, though. They still got both timeouts.
Yep.
Now, if you're Cincinnati, here's what you do. Let them score.
Yep. Absolutely.
You let them score.
Absolutely.
Let them score.
Or, I mean, I don't know. That is definitely not a bad option. I don't think it's crazy.
Only option. It's your only option. I do not want to go into overtime with Mahomes.
You might not have a choice, though. You might not have a choice.
Let them score. I want... Oh, and they just took the timeout. Now I'm definitely letting them score. I only have one timeout, a minute 30 left.
The great unknown.
I'm lining up my entire defense. Here's what I'm doing. I'm lining up my entire defense behind the end zone, like under the uprights. Let them score.
This is an extremely hard spot. Like I get where you're coming from, and I don't
I need all of that time.
I want
disagree.
It all. I don't disagree
it all.
with where you're coming from.
Okay, so you're not lining up. Hold on, you're not lining up the way I said. So here's what you do now: you drop everyone off the line except one guy. Let them score. Let them score.
Part of me,
stop. You're fucking yourself, Cincinnati.
But I get Cincinnati too. Like, we're up by 3. You ain't guaranteed to make this field goal. You sure as hell ain't guaranteed to get a touchdown here. Like, let us hold you to a field goal. Let us, the defense, prove that no, we're not the underdog. We're not a lesser team. We are equal.
We're winning right now.
Yes, we are winning right now. And so we are just going to keep that attitude. We're going to hold you to your fucking field goal. You want to make the game longer?
The difference is right now. Here's the difference right now.
Like,
you're on the field. I'm in the booth.
Yep. And again, I'm not saying my take is the right take.
And I'm not saying you're wrong either. Is what I'm saying is I'm not smelling the sweat on the field right now. I'm not in it.
Yep.
I'm observing.
Yep.
I'm bird's eye. I'm looking at the numbers. Again, we've suddenly switched roles.
Yeah. It's great.
We've suddenly switched roles because I'm the one going, no. I want X, Y, and Z. I'm doing algebra. I'm doing calculus here. You're the one going on human emotion. You're the one saying the will of man. We are winning right now.
Let's see. I'm the one going, this is the 3% of the game where we don't go with the analytics.
They're going to sack him.
Oh, my God.
Scotty ends up being right. Woo. Oh, no, it brings up 3rd and goal. It brings up 3rd and goal. And the clock's still running. See, this is what I didn't want. It's 3rd and goal. It's still 3rd and goal, and the clock's still right now. Okay, so Scotty's not right yet.
No,
Scotty might be right.
But again, like, I like the idea when you have the lead in this situation, you're the road team, all that stuff.
Scotty, no.
Hold them to the field goal attempt and hope they miss the field goal. Like,
Scotty, no.
We see kickers miss field goals all the freaking
Scotty,
time.
No.
It's not exclusive to the Vikings.
All right, here we go.
Kickers missing
it's Mahomes'
kicks
3rd goal. Mahomes in shotgun. He's got a running back to his left. He takes a timeout.
Timeout. I think we all needed a timeout there. Thank you, Andy Reid.
You needed a timeout. Me and the Bengals didn't need a timeout. It's getting intense.
Hey,
this is my favorite version of this, by the way.
Real quick fun fact. My 18-year-old son, who's a freshman in college now, he likes to cheer for the Chiefs because he thinks head coach Andy Reid looks like Grover Cleveland. Former President Grover Cleveland.
That is 100% true.
I know. It's like he doesn't even call him Andy Reid. He's like, it's Grover Cleveland.
No, that's 100% true. You know who he also looks like? Teddy Roosevelt.
Yes, he does.
Dude, and it's weird that you bring up that reference because I know so much about all the presidents. When I was a little kid, like 5, 6 years old, I could recite every president from front to back.
Nice.
And I can't do them all perfectly in order. I get mixed up.
Some of the Monroe frickin', Taft.
No, because living in Northeast will fix all of that.
Okay.
It's after that, right? It's in that weird Roosevelt era that I get a little fucked up.
Okay.
But once I get past once I get back into World War II,
sure,
I'm good.
Right. Yep.
And then I can get back to current. But you just name a president, and I can tell you some crazy shit about them.
Great blocking all the time in the world.
All day.
The biggest, most ideal pocket.
He sacked the fumble! It's a fumble! Oh, my God! Oh, shit! Add 17 yards. Add 17 yards. Now we're looking at a 42-yard field goal. Hold on.
From like a 27-yard gimme kick.
Hold on, Scotty. Let me do my job. All right. So for the people who can't watch this game right now, and you're listening and you're trying to keep up, you're watching the YouTube. You got, okay, Mahomes drops back. He does the Mahomes deal, but he fumbles. It's a sack fumble. Okay. So now the football is now on. It's 4th and goal. We're looking at a field goal. There's 2 seconds left because of the way these things work out. The clock was stopped on a sack fumble on 4th down. The clock is stopped and a timeout was called. So now we're looking at a 52-yard field goal by Harrison Butker.
I don't know. I gotta check that yardage for sure. But we were going when this started.
Hold on. Here's your replay.
When this started, 1st and 10, we were looking at around a 25-yard chip shot for the tying field goal, if that's what it came to. Now with the ball recovered at around the 26, 27-yard line.
If the Bengals recover that football, the game's over.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that too. If the Bengals simply recover that, game's over. This is at least a 44, 46-yard attempt, mid-40s.
It's 17 yards from the point of, so 42.
Drastically different from the 25-yard chip shot that they started this 1st and 10 with, though.
At best, we tie this game and we go to overtime.
Oh, that's good.
We're going to overtime. We're going to overtime, ladies and gentlemen. Shit just got real.
Harrison Butker, he wears that C on his jersey for a reason, because he's got cold blood in his veins. Ice, baby.
Blooded. All right, we're gonna go back to the graphic screen.
Great snap. We're
gonna go back to the other screen, you guys. We're gonna play the song. You know the deal.
All the elements of that kick were perfect.
We're gonna play our little intro song.
Damn.
We're gonna play our little intro song.
Dude, he kicked that thing like a boss too. That last replay, he kicked it like a boss. You could see that he kicked it with confidence. He knew the second it left his foot, that ball was going right down the middle. Gotta love that from a kicker. Like, especially as a Vikings fan. Like, that's sexy as hell to see a kicker that can do that and carry himself like that.
What a game.
What a game. Jeez, what a game.
What a game. But this is literally why I also literally said, let them score, because I don't want to go to overtime with Patrick Mahomes. Kyle was also saying, let them score with 4.5 left.
That I would have been much more inclined to go, yeah, absolutely. Yep. Because then you can get in that other, you switch the roles then of, all right,
shit, Kansas City won.
That's Kansas City,
the coin flip.
Yep.
The coin flip, guys.
The Kansas City,
they didn't win the game. They won the coin flip.
Not the game.
Sorry. All right, we're going to a commercial.
That said, that does not mean the Chiefs have won the game.
We're going to commercial.
My God. Holy shit, bro. No. No, I'm too jacked to have to piss. To fucking pound this. Damn. Hello. Oh my gosh, thank you. Oh man. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm talking now. Oh my goodness. These are the bomb, dude.
Oh, things are like it?
Those things are incredible.
I thought we were just getting pizza rolls. What?
Like, I can't recommend those highly enough. Like, I want those in my house, in my freezer. Like, damn,
those
dude.
Bomb as fuck,
That's what
man.
I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Speaking of things that are bomb as fuck, like, I seriously don't think you realize how good this music is.
The track does hit, doesn't it?
Fuck it, like a sledgehammer. Here we go. Kick off.
All right, we're back.
And boom, that'll be a touchback out of the back of the end zone. Chiefs will be starting this overtime period tied at 24 in the AFC Championship game with the ball from their own 25-yard line. What a game this has turned out to be. Very lopsided in the first half up until the ending moments when a very key momentum swing happened when the Chiefs, with inside the 10-yard line, decided to go for the touchdown on fourth down instead of taking that field goal and keeping all the momentum with a 14-point lead at halftime. They went for the touchdown, and it cost them. Really coming back to bite them in the butt here.
And look how wrong I was on that don't go for two thing.
Not necessarily wrong, though. It just changes how things play out and the decision. Like, it just puts us in an alternate universe then, or a different multiverse. It's
Yep. All right, here we go. Mahomes in shotgun.
Kelsey fakes motion back to the left.
Oh, and it's almost intercepted. Holy shit.
Real
that's game
bad
over.
Pass behind the receiver.
If he makes that interception, that's game over.
Nearly picked off by Eli Apple. How is Pat Mahomes that inaccurate with that throw?
Bad footwork. That's how.
That ball was two people. That's behind the receiver.
Those are those rare moments where Patrick Mahomes becomes human.
Normally, when a ball's thrown behind a receiver a little bit, he can still turn around and get a hand on it. It's, that was two people, two bodies away from the wide receiver behind him there. Almost like he expected a different route or something coming out of the receiver's break. Where Mahomes expected a little bit more of a comeback or a curl.
It's intercepted!
Off the tip. Ooh, ugly tackle. Nothing illegal, I don't think.
All right, Cincinnati, run the football. You guys have all acknowledged this. Everyone in chat has acknowledged this.
It's Joe Mixon time.
You've acknowledged this. Chat has acknowledged this. I have acknowledged this. Now is your time. Don't be the Minnesota Vikings. Here's what you do. You run the fucking football down their goddamn throats.
Yep.
They've been tired.
Yep.
They've been exhausted. We are now in the fifth quarter.
They're gassed. They're on their heels.
Run the goddamn football straight up their stupid asses, and you get your motherfucking asses to the Super Bowl since first time since 1984.
Double coverage. Great tight double coverage there. Guy A bats the ball away from the receiver, gets the breakup, and guy B gets the ball in the air before it hits the ground. That is just fantastic combo coverage.
It was just shit replay. That's why I didn't play it for you guys.
Fantastic combo coverage by the Bengals. Really bad decision.
Shotgun. He's
with
complete.
The ball. We're working that.
He's complete to the left side, and that's going to be. Higgins. Oh, see, that's why I don't like how they bled the whistle there. Like, he could have got that first down. I don't like it.
We're going to get to see my kicker in his rookie year send his frickin' team to the Super Bowl.
Look at his haircut, too. He looks like Joe Namath. Or not Joe Namath. He looks like Johnny Unitas.
Johnny Unitas, yeah. Johnny U. In my opinion, the first great modern quarterback. John Unitas invented the modern quarterback
Scotty,
position.
It's almost like they're listening.
Yeah, it is almost.
It's almost like they're listening, guys. I'm telling you, give a football to Scotty. Give a football team. Like, even just a middle school football team. Give the team to Scotty, me, or Anwar, and whoever you hire will hire the other two for respective positions, and we're going to win. Even a middle school football team. Yeah,
on 1st and 10, only needing a field goal to win in a sudden death situation, a 2-yard run is fantastic.
100% when you're, 3 yards out of field goal range?
You're still on script. You get a 3-yard run here, you're 3rd and 5. All right, we got plenty of plays in the playbook for 3rd and 5.
Exactly. Yep. And they're all running plays.
And you're hoarding the energy in the stadium and the momentum. You're hoarding all of it.
It's a great play,
especially when you're on the road. Especially when you're on the road, more important than
and he's complete first down. Oh, shit.
What a great catch.
Now you do not do anything other than run.
Great hands catch. Yep. Nope.
You're running the football on the way to the Super Bowl.
Yep. And your passing plays, which you have sprinkled in to keep the defense honest, are high percentage, quick, easy.
You know why
chip away?
You know
chip
the other
away
reason.
At them stuff.
You know the other reason I'm rooting for the fucking Bengals is because my theory of not paying receivers holds up.
Yep. Then you've got the stud on his rookie You've got the studs on their rookie contracts, Chase and Burrow, just like we were talking about.
Yep.
Dude, we should have just bet the Bengals. We should have realized this.
We should have done the math on the salaries.
We should have done the math and realized this and went, because of this, the Bengals are going to win this freaking game.
Well, now we know it's still at, I mean, right now, we have our baseline, which is 10% on the wide receiver and 12% on the quarterback. Look at Tyreek Hill looking devastated. Listen, man, you won a Super Bowl. Get over it.
And you were there last year. Did you know that no team has ever lost a Super Bowl one year and then went on to win the Super Bowl the next year? It has never, ever happened.
So they lost it and then went back and won?
Yes, that has never happened, ever. In the history of the Super Bowl, no team has ever lost one year and then won the following year. Ever.
Dude, that's super hard to believe, but
yes, it is.
But I can totally buy it.
And the only reason I know that is because when I was trying to make my preseason predictions, everything was pointing towards the Chiefs for my predictions. And I was like, I don't like that. It's so chalk. It's not me. I'm not that much of a chalk guy. But then I went and I looked at the Super Bowl history of every single Super Bowl winner and loser and looked specifically at, okay, every team that has lost a Super Bowl, what happened to them the next year? Never once has that team won the Super Bowl the following year. And only, I think, twice have they lost the next year in a row.
Dude, in fact, now that you're saying this, actually, this does make sense.
And so that made me go like, okay, I will pick the Chiefs, because even though it appears to be chalk, it's not.
Here's the thing is, like, it makes sense, though, because, in fact, not only does that add up, but most of the Super Bowl losers don't even make the playoffs the next year.
Exactly. Yep.
Dude, sriracha on pizza rolls is fucking bomb, bro.
Yeah, you got to have 7 and 4. The rule is 7 guys on the line of scrimmage, 4 guys off the line of scrimmage.
Oh, no shit, huh?
Yep.
7 on, 4 off?
Yep, that's the rule.
And that's
all times. That's why you will see
like how many inches is off?
Like a step.
So 6.
Yeah, like a 6, like
foot,
just one step. Just take one step back. That's usually
that's more like a foot.
So that's why. Yeah. So I would say about a foot. But so like that's why like when you'll see a bunch of 3 receivers on one side, only like the middle one is up on the line of scrimmage and the other 2 are like one step back from him, is because of that rule. 7 guys on the line of scrimmage.
That's because the tight end's on the line at that point.
Yes, exactly. Whether a tight end is in the play or not is a factor.
Well, there would have to be a 7th guy on the line in order to make that an issue.
Yep. Right. Well,
so
actually, then you'd have too many. But you can't go like 6 and 5. Like, it's always got to be 7 and 4.
Right. So that's what I'm getting at. So you have 5 O linemen on every play.
Always. Yep. Exactly.
Then you can have a tight end.
Yep.
That's number 6.
Yep.
But he might be off
the line. He
might
be off. Exactly.
That allows you to have 2 other wide receivers on the line.
Yes, it does.
If your tight end is on the line, then all 3 wide receivers have to be off the line.
Correct. I want to say
only one. I'm sorry, only one can be on the line.
I want to say though that each of them needs to be outside of a different tackle, though. So like you can't have your 5 offensive linemen, a tight end off the line, and then like 2 wideouts both on the line. That inside wideout would not be an eligible receiver, even though he's on the line.
Again, going back to what we talked about, this
might
is why
be
I
a slight
love football.
Misunderstanding.
This is why I love football.
My part, but
this is why I love football, though, because if you're in game and you can legitimately argue with the fucking refs to where they don't actually understand the rules, they can't penalize you for doing these things.
Yep. Yep.
So
Here we go. This is it.
So not only that. All right, here we go.
This is an easy kick. Bengals going to the Super Bowl.
The Bengals are going to the Super Bowl.
The Bengals are going to the Super Bowl. My God.
All right. All right. Now guys, we're going to end this.
So that means we get the Rams beating the Niners, and then the Rams are going to beat the Bengals.
All right, now we're going to end this, and we're going to immediately start the other one. So just refresh, go back to the channel, and jump on with us for the next game. Thank you, guys. We love you.
Hope you tune in. It's been a lot of fun.
If you're watching this on playback, maybe you're overseas, you're serving. Thank you for your service. Appreciate you. If you want to check out the NFC Championship game,